All right, hello everybody. Investing is a vehicle for freedom. We are sitting on the seat of our edge. Not bad. Not bad at all. It's like finding a hay in a needle stack. The stock market is now open! All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the market close. We are here live for the first time ever. That was the intro. Some of you guys might have liked it. Some of you guys might have not liked it. What also sucks about the intro is that if you just tune in, the intro has a little bit of a delay as well because of StreamYard, which it is what it is, bro. At least it doesn't have a delay when I start talking. But nonetheless, we're here. You guys can roll back and watch it again. I like it. I might change it in the future. A little bit of a beat switch, have different common sayings that I have throughout the entire beat, different video footage of people I've interviewed in the past. So there you go. That'll be the intro for now. We might change it in the future, but I like it. I like the intro. And we have a little bit of fun stuff in the intro for those that enjoy it. See, that's the other thing with StreamYard, though. The problem is the intro was a little delayed, right? You only saw half of it. It's a StreamYard thing, bro, or it's a YouTube thing more than a StreamYard thing. I got to see if I can figure that out. But at least the intro protects the ability for me to go live and not be cut off. And as soon as you guys join, you hear half of what I'm saying, even if you only see half of the intro itself. So there you go. That's what we got when it comes to the intro. You guys can check it. You guys can scroll back a little bit to see if you like it, and we'll make some different intros over time because I'm not fully sold on this one, but at least we got something here. That's not too bad. All right. Cool. So that's what we got for the intro. But outside of the intro, Nvidia, baby, is back. This is why people buy the dip. Palantir as well is at $80 freaking dollars. 127 on Nvidia. Very nice to see that Nvidia having a nice recovery. Why am I this small in the corner? Hold on. Let's put it right here. Okay, there we go. There we go. Nvidia right here, 127.76 here right now. This is actually a good, yeah, Lunar, thank you for this. Do a countdown as the first part of the intro to get rid of the delay. Okay, that's perfect. So we'll try that tomorrow in the morning. We'll try that in the morning. Okay, so there'll be like a little 10 to 5 second countdown, and that should then roll the intro, and then it should roll me. So that should be a way to resolve against that. But here we go, 127.87 on Nvidia. You know the first question that's coming right here into the chat. Dead cat bounce or not? Dead cat bounce or not on Nvidia? It's looking like it wants to get to 128. Well, it did hit just 128 just now, 127.92. I mean, look, it's pretty incredible. It's a nice reversal, up 8% on the day. Yesterday, Nvidia lost $600 billion in market cap. Now, Nvidia gained $200 billion in market cap, which is very, very nice. If you bought the dip at all over the past couple of days, you have, or at least over the past 24 hours, even in this morning, we bought Nvidia yesterday at 120, bought it at 119.9 this morning. So got it 2 times since yesterday, and it's done well. Now, is this a dead cat bounce? I would say no, but then again, that's kind of the nature of a dead cat bounce. It feels like it's like, all right, we're done with the pain, and then it ends up tanking again. I think tomorrow, again, we've been talking about this, but Meta and Microsoft, whatever the hell they say on the call, is going to determine the CapEx guidance for NVIDIA's spend, or for NVIDIA's revenue that they get from that CapEx spend. And then the market's going to determine where they think it goes from here. But it doesn't really feel that dead cat bouncy. It feels like the market's waking up and saying, why did we take NVIDIA down $600 billion? And I think that's some of the momentum that we're seeing right now. Meta, all-time high, 672. Oracle's up 4%. SOFI ended up going green. SOFI was down 5% of the day. SOFI goes green. Robinhood trying to make its way back to 50. Topped out at 49.80, looking like it's going to close at 49.42, but not bad for Hood. Rocket Lab was down about 1.5%. SMCI did not follow NVIDIA. Spotify's up 3%. Cheesecake Factory's up. Nubank's up 2.3%. Even Grab is having not too bad of a day, up 2.7% at 456. And then Palantir up 6.4%, getting back to $80. The DeepSeek thesis only reinvigorates the Palantir thesis around models becoming commoditized. And as a result, it seems like a lot of the value is coming to Palantir, and the street kind of reflecting that here as Palantir is up. Tesla also going green. Tesla, not too bad right here. 398, slightly green, up 0.5%. Again, Tesla earnings going to be very important, but Tesla is green. A dead cat bounce or not? 61% of you said no, it is not a dead cat bounce. 39% of you saying yes, it is. Tomorrow, we're going to be on day 3 of the dip, and usually that's when we see kind of how the market is going to play it or not. Wow, Nvidia 127.9. So, I mean, look, it feels really good if you bought the dip over the past 24 hours. I guess it's still going to take a couple days to kind of see how this plays out. But in 9 minutes, Nvidia might close at 128. We are 9 cents away. And so far, retail looks really smart. Why does retail look really smart? Well, retail bought $562 million of this dip over the past 24 hours. Now, Varda Research said that retail bought $500 million. Some people were saying, okay, this is definitely a dead cat bounce if retail's buying the dip. My opinion here is a little bit different. I think that Nvidia's always been a retail stock, right? Like when Nvidia was at 30, 40 bucks, retail was buying this, not the street. I mean, some parts of the street were buying it, but it's not like they were upgrading it every day like they've been doing over the past couple months after it got over that $80, $90, $100 hump. So if retail investors really have been getting rich off Nvidia over the past couple of years as they've rode this GPU revolution, and then the street got excited about it, it kind of makes sense that retail investors would be the one to buy the dip. They bought the dip on August 5th when it fell from 132 to 92. And maybe yesterday they were the same ones buying that dip as Nvidia fell 17%, its worst day in the history of being a public company. So I like it. It's exciting. It's very exciting. And you can't be too upset if you decided to nibble into Nvidia. Now, one of the other reasons people might be saying 128 right here on Nvidia, that it feels like a dead cat bounce, is because the semis aren't really following Nvidia. And so this could be an Nvidia thing, but not a semiconductor thing, which is weird because you would imagine the semiconductor stocks kind of follow in the footsteps of Nvidia. And if the whole sector fell, the whole sector should move together after the market woke up after being moody for a day and realized, yeah, this was kind of stupid for us to sell it off. But that's not the case. Micron's down 2%, Dell's down 2%, Lam Research is down 1%, SMCI cannot catch a bid, down 3%, AMD as well, 113, falling below its Christmas Eve low, 113.97, down about 1% of the day, and then Intel down 2.4%, ASML down 0.5%. Broadcom did move with Nvidia, which is nice. I guess Broadcom's decline yesterday was also pretty exaggerated, down about 15%, with Nvidia down almost the same, 17%. TSM as well, up 5%. But some of these other semi names couldn't really move with Nvidia in the same vein as what's happening today. 128.2, baby, on Nvidia, up almost 8.2% on the day. Very, very exciting to see Nvidia get some of this momentum. And then Palantir as well, if you bought the dip yesterday, is doing not too bad, $80.65. Let me check resistance on Palantir for 81 real quick. We have about 6 minutes left until the market close. And let's see how this plays out. Also, I did do some buying today. Obviously, I bought 50 shares in the morning of Nvidia. I bought 50 shares of Google as well. So bought some more Googs, just shares. 81 is 48,000 shares on Palantir. It's possible in the next 6 minutes, but 48,000 shares for Palantir. And then for Nvidia, 129 has, let's see, how hard is it going to be? 115,000 shares, which is a wall. Got 6 minutes left. Who knows? Maybe that can be penetrated. But 115,000 shares for it. Wow, 128.5. All right, it's going to try. It's definitely going to try. Okay, so I bought some Google today, bought some Nvidia. I also bought one call option on Hood for $45 for 2027. Real quick thing on Hood. We do have a new Vlad interview. I don't have the clip yet, but he was on Fox Business today talking about a new article that he published on the Washington Post about the AI revolution for investors. So we'll get more updates on that later. But Hood is getting some pretty decent option flow, and so is Oracle. So Oracle got the 180 call for March 21st, $1.4 million in net premium on Oracle. So people are betting that Oracle will have a nice reversal back to the 180s. I think it was at 197 like last week, and now it's at 165 after the Nvidia drop. So Oracle got some premium, and then Robinhood, $3.9 million for the $50 call for April 2025, April 17th, which is in a couple months. So that got some premium. And then Hood got another set of premium, $5.5 million on the August 55 covered call, or not covered call, the August 55 call. Lots of premium coming into Hood at the $50 strike and the $55 strike. So not bad to see that for Hood. Again, trying to get to that $50 support that Jason has been talking about for the past couple of weeks, and maybe Hood gets back there. Right now it's at $49.40 on the day. Reddit, great day as well, up 7%, SOFI up 1%, Oracle up 3.65%, Meta all-time high 674, and Amazon all-time highs as well, 238. It was at 241, but incredible day for the Max 7, incredible day for energy infrastructure, and incredible day, obviously, for Nvidia on the rebound. VST, which got hit badly, that's up 9%. This is the Nancy stock that was bought a couple weeks ago, about January 14th. And then VRT, Vertiv Holdings, this one also up 4% after falling 30% yesterday. Let's check Oklo. Oklo 3386 up 8% after falling 32% yesterday as well. Also, CrowdStrike, dude, incredible. What a reversal on CrowdStrike. All-time highs, 10%, $100 billion market cap, PE of 806, but no one cares because CrowdStrike has some of the best cybersecurity in the world. Fortinet as well had an all-time high today at $100. And market likes it. Market really, really likes it right here. CRM as well, all-time high on Salesforce. Great day for Salesforce, 359 up 3.5%. It was at 365, but it looks like the software applications, whether it's a Palantir, whether it's a CrowdStrike, or even the hyperscalers are catching a bid. And then we can't say Nvidia is going down while the rest of the market's going down because Nvidia is well up 7% on the day, moving with the broader market. So it was a big green day. Now, granted, this is what tends to happen after a really bad red day. And if you have a continuation of that red day, well, then it just means that we have a broader issue going on. But people stepping in, deja vu of 2024. 2024 dips lasted maybe 2 days max. Most of the time, they would be for one day. Quite frankly, most of the time, they would be for a couple hours. And intraday, you would see the dip get bought. Seems like so far that's happening in 2025. Cloudflare as well, up 10.3%. That is incredible. And then Bitcoin is at 101. So Bitcoin lagging a little bit. MicroStrategy probably down on the day. MicroStrategy right here at 335, down 3.4%. But Bitcoin in general, not doing too bad, holding above 100,000. So not bad. It's a good day, bro. What can you say? It's a good day after a bloody red day, particularly in the semiconductor sector. Nice rebound here today. Shopify as well. I don't know why they're up 10% today, but they're up 10% today. I mean, it kind of looked like the market needed a reason to take stocks down yesterday. They got their reason and they came back and they said, all right, we had a reason. It's time to buy the dip because this is indeed a bull market. Casey says, Amit, I wrote my first covered call today. Thanks for your class. I love it. Let me know what strike and what stock you wrote it on. That is awesome. Generating some income now from 100 shares of a stock that you own. I love it. We got 1 minute left. Jed says back to red tomorrow. We will see what tomorrow looks like. Tomorrow's going to be wild again. You got JPAL, you got Meta, you got Microsoft, you got Tesla. I like that Meta's pumping. I don't love that it's pumping going into earnings, but it is nice to see the market placing an emphasis on open source. And as long as Zuck's reiterates CapEx, that's good for Nvidia. If he takes CapEx down, not good for Nvidia, but really good for Meta. So tomorrow's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. And then obviously we got Tesla. We'll do a preview of all three of those companies tomorrow, but that is going to be very important. Now, after the bell, the main earnings we have is good old Starbucks, which is at $100. Let's do the Starbucks pump or dump poll. After Starbucks, which will take us like 10 minutes, we will get into Technical Tuesday. I think Starbucks reports immediately, but we will see. They might have a little bit of a delay, and if that's the case, then we'll get to them in the middle of Technical Tuesday. But 100.37, this thing ran from 70 a couple months ago back to 100. I have no clue what happens to Starbucks, but in a couple minutes, we're going to find out what happens here today. All right, Tuesday, January 28th, the stock market is now closed. All right, we'll get Starbucks in just a little bit. Where did Nvidia close? Oh my, dude, Nvidia. Holy crap. I wasn't looking at Nvidia because I was on Starbucks. 128.99. What a run in that last minute. It was at 127.50. I think at 357. Within 3 minutes, 129.05 it hit right before it ended. And then it ended the day at 128.99, up 8.93% on the day. I am officially better than break even on my Nvidia position. My average is 128.95. So There you go. We're up a little bit. After hours is down a little bit, down 0.5% at 128.35, but still incredible on Nvidia, up 8.93% on the day. Tesla as well, end of the day green, up 0.24%, 398. MicroStrategy 335, that was down 3.4% on the day. The Palantir end green at $80. Palantir ended $80.23 for Palantir. Not bad at all. S&P 500, 604.4. That's up about 0.84% of the day. So the S&P 500 was actually green and up 1% of the day. The Qs were up 1.5%, 521.8. So the Qs as well, the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 green. The NASDAQ and the S&P 500 green. Where did Google end? Google was 197. I bought 50 shares today at about 195. So you got Google, that's up a little bit on the day. And then Amazon ended not at all-time highs, but very close at 238.15, up 1.16% on the day. Starbucks getting a little bit of movement after hours. We're up 1%. We're up a little bit more than 1%. Let's see if I can get those numbers on Starbucks. They should be out very soon. This is the only really big earnings of the day. Tomorrow is going to be also important, but today is Starbucks. Yeah, it's up 1% after hours. No numbers yet. We'll see if we can get that in a second, but it is a bit green. JPOW tomorrow, 2:30. I'll be live. 2:30. I'll be live to cover Mr. Jerome Powell, who's probably not going to cut rates and probably not raise rates. It will be likely a pause. Yeah, I mean, shorts. I mean, dude, if you went short Nvidia yesterday, especially if you went short near the bottom, I could imagine you would feel a little bit of hesitation on that short and you probably wanted to cover. So there could be an argument on not just Nvidia, but a lot of stocks yesterday that theoretically took a big dump where shorts came in, they shorted, and then today they said, you know what, it's not worth it. I mean, shorting Nvidia historically has not worked for like the past couple of years. And a lot of people lost a lot of money back in 2023 when they were shorting it because Nvidia grew into the valuation. Like Nvidia was overvalued, but they just grew into it because the growth was exponential. So might not be the best strategy this time around as well. Nvidia down about 0.33% after hours, but I don't think anyone cares about that. 128.99, incredible close, up 9% for Nvidia. Starbucks, I don't think we have the numbers yet. It might take a couple of minutes. Let me see if they posted it on their website. What the street's expecting for Starbucks is 67 cents of EPS, 9.32 billion of revenue, which are both down year over year anyway. So if they miss on those numbers, you might have a street that's a little upset, even if they already know their expectations shouldn't be that strong. Amit, did you see the headline? Gelsinger is using DeepSeek on his new startup. I didn't, but I did see a lot of other headlines. Hugging Face said that they're implementing or they're building a competitor to DeepSeek, and they're going to be open sourcing that in the next couple of weeks, and they're only using 800 NVIDIA GPUs to train it. So we are seeing the industry in regards to AI companies, AI foundation model creators, open source companies start to say, hey, we're going to compete with this R1 thing and show you that we can make something even better. Sam Altman did say last night that we're going to be making a better model than DeepSeek pretty soon. It's getting people excited. It's getting people talking. It's reinvigorating competition. The question is just going to be, what is the implication for NVIDIA long-term? And at least today, the market thinks, all right, maybe NVIDIA is not worth 145, but it's definitely not worth 117. And we see NVIDIA right here at 128. On the day. Starbucks, I don't think we have the numbers yet. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start Technical Tuesday. We will get the numbers probably in the middle. And then in the middle, I'll just let you guys know the numbers. But I think they might be a 410, 415 reporter because we don't have the numbers yet. So in the middle of the show, we will get those numbers soon. All right, here we go. Let's get started for Technical Tuesday. We're going to be talking about a lot of different companies here today. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Palantir. We're going to be looking at technicals on Nvidia. We're going to be looking at VST, VRT. Oh, before we get into Technical Tuesday, I think we just got the numbers. Starbucks is up 5%. Yeah, 405. So there we go. It makes sense that we're getting it right now. 6%. We're green. We're green. We're green. We're green. Let me see if I can get these numbers. That's up. It's a beat. It looks like it's a beat. That is accurate. Waiting on the numbers. Let me try to get a couple of their sources for these numbers, but it looks like Starbucks is green. Who owns Starbucks? Put it in the chat if you own this bad boy. 4%. It's holding on to 4%, kind of. It's not going away anytime soon. That's a nice green candle. Topped out at 106. Now 3.7%. Kind of trying to hold on, but the market likes it. The market doesn't hate it. 61% of you said dump on Starbucks. So the majority of you a bit more bearish than not. I think we should be getting the numbers very, very soon. Very, very soon. Wow, none of you guys drink Starbucks. You guys said you hate Starbucks. To be honest, I don't know. I'm not a big coffee guy anyway, but I've had Starbucks drinks. I'm not like obsessed with it like some people. But this is a turnaround story. This is a question of, can this thing turn around long term? And can this be what a lot of people thought Starbucks was going to be a couple years ago after they had a bunch of issues with demand? We should be getting the results in just a second. Let me pull this up and then we'll keep going from there.
Specifically on CapEx trends, then I think that's probably going to be a differentiator as to who really carries this next leg of the bull cycle.
Okay. Hang tight, because we have Starbucks earnings. Those are out. Courtney Reagan has the numbers for us. Hi, Court.
Hi, Morgan. Yep. So this is the fiscal first quarter for Starbucks. Remember, the first quarter with Brian Niccol as the CEO, reporting earnings per share of 69 cents. That beats the street, which was expecting 67 cents, so 2 cents better. Starbucks revenues also stronger than expected, 9.4 billion. The street was expecting a little more than $9.3 billion. Global same-store sales down 4%. The street was looking for that number to actually come in worse, down 5.5%. So still down, but better than expected and better than what we saw for that metric last quarter. Transactions down 6%. Average ticket up 3%. China, again, also weak. Same-store sales there down 6%. So down more in China than overall for that whole global number to be down 4%. You can see here shares, though, popping a little after hours. I think expectations a little low going into this print. And we know that Brian Niccol is just 1 quarter into the strategy that he's going to work through. We'll come through the release, see what else we have for you. Back over to you.
All right. Courtney, thank you. Shares are up 3.5% right now. And Paul, it did seem.
Okay, cool. I mean, it's a nice bull market. Starbucks not stopping the bull run, up 4.3%. So we're getting some love. We're getting some love from Starbucks, and we got a nice beat on EPS, which I don't think the street expected, but not a bad thing right here for Starbucks on the day. All right, we'll talk more about Starbucks and more about a lot of other stocks. Let's get ready for Technical Tuesday and roll the intro.
We made it, man. Happy Tuesday.
I like the green fire.
Happy Tuesday. Dude, what a rebound. We like
what
that.
A rebound.
It's a good day. It's a good day. You happy about your Nvidia buy? That was nice, dude.
Should have bought more.
Should have bought more. I bought some stuff today. True story. I bought a little bit today also. But yeah, I had some shopping list items, man. I was waiting for a couple prices and a couple pullbacks, and I was like, you know what? Today, I guess, or let me move this mic around. For anybody that's like, wondering like, hey, is it too early to buy? I think that was a question that I got a lot in in Twitter and stuff like that. How do you know? It's like you don't really ever officially know. But what I'd say is that, there's today's low was higher than yesterday's low. That's for sure. And I think that's probably the best sign in general. So like if you want to use a stop, if you will, for any net new money longs that you have out there, I think you can comfortably say, hey, look, today's low was higher than yesterday's low. That's good. So check that box. And then if we're breaking yesterday's low, then okay, well, we might be going a little bit lower, and then you kind of gauge it from there.
Yeah.
But it's an easy spot, like from that perspective.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about, obviously, from a technical perspective. But I don't think we've had a Technical Tuesday when we've had a day that was as bad as yesterday in one sector and what that means for the rest of the sector. So I think there's a lot to talk about in terms of psychology, but also the actual technicals.
Well, yeah, you and I were texting back and forth. Did you tell them at all? Like,
yeah, I told them you bought VST. That was your main buy.
Oh, I bought VST, and then I went in. We talked about Astera a couple times. I bought Astera Labs, ALAB today. And I also bought Arista yesterday, but I bought a lot more. I bought more Arista today as well. And I did do options on all of them in addition to equity. So there's that. So Arista and Astera, I look at this situation in general. I'm like, okay, so what got hit yesterday? It was very much tied to LLMs specifically, right? But, and you've been talking about this, covering it pretty well for a bit, is that, you know, the Palantir thesis of like, what do we care about LLMs in general, right? Is that's one AI use case. It's not the main one. And quite frankly, at the end of the day, it's probably going to be a commodity use case.
Yeah.
So like, who really cares? And yes, we're going to continually have a lot of innovation in the space. And if they can drive down costs, cool. That's good for a lot of software companies. We saw, you know, Meta all-time highs. But specifically for Arista and Astera, these are edge networking components, if that makes sense. So that's about like content delivery. And so Astera is like componentry that goes into Arista switches, it's networking, right? So you still need, to me, I looked at it, it's like you still need that edge network to push the speed because the compute is going so much faster, right? So to me, I look at it, I'm like,
let's get into technicals, and then I want you to give your thesis on those when we get to those stocks, because it'll make sense when you actually pull them up. But I think let's get started with Nvidia. Let's get started with that.
So Nvidia, we've looked at for a long time. I guess I should share my screen, huh?
Yeah, we're going to do SMCI, guys. We're going to be here for like the next few hours, do a lot of tickers. But I guess the questions for you on this are, how did you reconcile the 17% drop? What was your raw take when you saw it? As a trader, did you immediately think, I need to step in? Were you looking for certain gaps? Where did you decide was the best moment to buy? And then did you buy Nvidia yesterday as well?
So I didn't buy Nvidia yesterday. Quite frankly, I own a good chunk of Nvidia, so I didn't need a whole lot more. The ones, like I said, the ones to me that were on my shopping list, it was more the edge network stuff that was getting hit. I looked across the board. I'm like, okay, 30% down VST, 30% down Arista, 30% down or more Astera. And I'm like, okay, so these are for sure the biggest discounts. Now I need to justify whether or not they're legitimately discounted, right? Or like, meaning like, are they trading like this for a reason? And then I also looked across the board, and I look at like, you know, net flows in general, advanced decliners, market internals, if you will. And the internals were not jiving, right? Like we've been talking about the dollar. We've been talking about the yields. I was watching the dollar come down. We're watching yields come down. I'm like, this is not right. And honestly, 3 out of 4 stocks were up that day, right? It was just a handful of other stocks. And when I think about a healthy market in general, look, you know, the dollar's a good gauge or barometer, if you will, because, you know, in an unhealthy market, what you tend to see is people just fleeing to legitimate cash, right? Like just cash. And that would show up really in the Dixie. And we were not seeing that. Net flows were somewhat negative, but they weren't nearly as negative as they were a few days prior, right? And I posted on my X timeline, hey, look, you know, I think it was like the 22nd or 23rd. It was like, this is not where I want to press my bets. And sure enough, we got a bit of a pullback. But the pullback, I think, again, to your point, we are technically still in a bull market. It's just, you know, just this one piece of the story that might have gotten a little kink in it. But there were a lot of things that were thrown out. So like the power stocks, I mean, just absolutely hammered. I don't know if you guys know, but like Quanta Services, PWR, pretty decent sized position in my portfolio, right? GEV, like GE Vernova, pretty decent sized position in my portfolio. So I was down pretty bad. On the day. And of course I also have a decent amount of Nvidia, but at the end of the day, I'm like, yeah, me and Matt were right up there. So cheers, dude, to the negative 6-figure days on the investing portfolios. But
you have to go through those days to get the really good days. Right?
You have to. It's just, you don't want to have like the $250,000 days in a row. I've had down 500K days, and they're like, yeah. You just don't want to look. But most of that I've shifted over the years. I've shifted a lot of that stuff to like equity holdings versus options. I only trade, honestly, I trade with like a $250,000 account with options. Everything else is equity. So the majority of what I have is equity.
So what are you looking at on this chart with gaps? I mean, is the chart healthy? Is this a nice rebound? How are you seeing it here?
So today? Nvidia. So we've been talking about this a lot. $123 exactly is what? You
A
know,
$3 trillion market cap.
$3 trillion market cap. It's been like this massive move all over here. So since the beginning, since we've been doing this Technical Tuesday, my statement has always been accumulate below 123 as best as you can, right? And I did take this trade here the other day, or no, it was this trade as a higher low, which ended up getting stopped out, but I had already taken a little bit of profit anyways. Today, it was the fact that, look, we're number one. So 123, we know, $3 trillion market cap. That's the biggest thing. I'm just going to make this. Anyways,
I saw 123 yesterday, and I just saw us keep going below, and I was like, oh my, that's a key level that Jason warned about.
It's a huge level. It's a huge level, but check this out. So I'm going to drop this down to an even smaller time frame. And remember when I said today, and I was watching this early. So what we want to see, if the market's going to change character, if you will, there's a couple of things that we want to see. We want to see the lows made in the early rounds of trading, right? In the first couple hours of the day. That and the close on the highs. That's exactly what we got today. It was the opposite yesterday. So yesterday, I wasn't, quite frankly, chomping at the bit. I wanted 115, which would have been right in here, or like right here. But when I was texting you, I was like, but who cares, right? Like, we're a couple bucks away from 115. What's the big deal? And then as we get to $123, and I'm going to drop in one more time, you can see this is that 3 trillion market cap. We break down just barely, but here's the lows. And this is just a 2-day chart, if you will. Here's the lows, 116. For like a split second, and then instantly starts to reverse up. So when I see something like this, number one, I'm like, oh, okay, well, the bears had a really good opportunity, right? The bears had a great opportunity to just completely floor this thing. So if they had the ammo to slap this down right here, this moment, they should have been able to continue on. But the fact that they couldn't should tell me one of two things. Number one, at the very least, it needs to go higher to get more sellers, at the very least. And I know that I have this 123 kind of like pivot point, right? Massive pivot point. Intraday, I was actually looking at this kind of like, this is going to be like a London session low or pre-market lows. Because again, another thing that we've talked about a lot is like, we want to see these like pre-market levels actually hold, right? So it was at 120 that it was holding this pre-market low. I'm like, it pivoted, it got back above. And I actually took it long right here, very short dated, but I got a little bored because I was in weeklies and I was like, I'm just going to get out of here. I took 123 calls somewhere in here. And then I ended up leaving, which sucks. But at the same time, I saw this happening and I was like, okay, we're going to go a little bit further dated. I'm going to open up a swing trade. And I opened up some 130s for, it was not super long dated either, but for this bounce, I'll tell you in a second, 130s for February. And so right now, as long as it's holding 123, that's good. Can we go red tomorrow? Yes, totally fine. Now, moving forward, and this is for all the stocks that got hit, and any stock that you're looking at that you're looking to see is the bottom kind of in, is that we want to see the next low be a higher low. Does this make sense? So We're thinking market structure, series of higher highs, higher lows, lower highs kind of thing. So if we're going to see a change in market structure here, if this was yesterday's high here, number one, did we kind of breach that? Yeah, just barely at the close. We just barely breached it right now. So can this come down tomorrow? It totally can. But the thing is, as long as it's still holding this 123 area, I expect that to hold as support. And anybody that was buying down in here, does it make sense? Would likely, I would like to see them step up and become buyers yet again in this kind of area.
Right. How do we know?
Or if they were shorting, right? If you're shorting, I'd like to see like shorts start to covers, which would have the same kind of price effect.
How do we know today isn't a dead cat bounce? Is it just the lower high?
So what I'm talking about here is that this is what's going to tell us. So it can, so it's not today that's going to tell us. It's going to be it's going to be like the next week, if that makes sense. So number one, you kind of want to hold this stop like 116. I'd give it a little room, maybe 114, if you, depending on how you're trading this. If it's equity, this is equity. If it's 114, that's equity. Fine. I mean, quite frankly, dude, I'm looking at this like, are you really going to sell it if it goes to 114? Or are you going to buy more? I'm probably going to buy more.
Yeah.
So I just think that this was more like knee-jerk reaction. Here's a better answer to your question, though. So we want to see a continuation of this reversal in microstructure. What I'm going to do is a little trick here. I'll take from this actual low. And so this breakdown here and this actual low. If we're over 133, which is going to be this area here, this is not a dead cat bounce, and we're going back higher, like to the highs. So that's going to become your level. It's going to be this kind of cohort of traders right in here. I can pull this over. Where this is coming from is like, so tomorrow, if we're over 129.50, we're very likely going to see 133s, 132s. But if we can close up in that level, we're going to basically fill this entire session gap. And then we're right back to where we were a couple days ago.
So 133 is the level we should be looking at.
133, you're probably in the clear, a close over, right? Ideally, yeah, if you start getting a close over 133, I mean, you're probably in the clear. Does it make new highs? I mean, that's just a question. But what that would say is that this was overdone. Right. And we're right back to where we were. You can, if you are already long Nvidia, you could probably pair off what you added and get back to like de-risk your position, if you will. And you got some trades, some shares for free. But the other thing is like,
what if Nvidia gets 8% tomorrow and completely recovers what it lost over the past 48 hours? How would you technically explain?
It could very well do that. So 10% tomorrow would be a full gap fill, if you will. And that's fine. But I would really expect it to stop right there. And then I would like to see it pull back and hold that same 134, 135, can go as low as 133 area. And you'd be looking at something like this.
Gotcha. Okay, so
I think it's we have Mag 7 earnings coming, right? I don't believe, and I don't think that the market believes that people are going to be like, oh, we're not going to be spending what we said we're going to be spending necessarily. Right. It's just a matter of like, was the market a little overly exuberant on the potential? And we talked about this, right? So we talked about Nvidia making a pre-earnings kind of run as we got closer to earnings. DeepSeek is kind of like a black swan, if you will, in essence. But yeah, this is, if we get back into this area, look at this. I mean, we're right back where we were just a couple days ago. What I would say is that there's a couple things too. Number one, Nvidia is decidedly in a consolidation period, right? So because of that, I'm not necessarily looking for it to break out of this range, but taking the trade today, I'm okay with. It's possible, and I don't want to get overly bullish here, but it's possible that this dip is probably too bullish. That this dip is exactly what Nvidia needed to get out of this box. Does that make sense? So like it couldn't go higher. That's true. So Nvidia could not go higher. It was stuck. It needed to accumulate more buyers.
So when a stock is stuck in a range, your argument is from a technical perspective, it could have a flush, but that flush brings in new buyers that allows it to go higher, essentially.
Yeah, and existing buyers buy more. And then as it stops going down, any shorts therefore start covering. That sometimes is exactly what I mean, we call it a liquidity grab, but like that sometimes is exactly what stocks need. And we're about to find out. And that 133 now becomes that key level. So this is just another little technical trend right here. You retested this. You're holding this. 133 is like the breakout level. Yes, Bling Daddy. It happens in crypto all the time. And it's actually it's a very old school thing in technical analysis also, right? Like it's a very real thing. So it is possible, cautionary, that this is exactly what Nvidia needed. And it goes back to some of the things that we've seen like on SOFI, where we talked about, or Meta, when we were talking about Meta at 650, those broadening ranges and that price discovery mode, right? It needs a little shakeup.
Yeah, I mean, also you're right. Nvidia has been consolidating for like 5 months at this point.
Yeah, it's not in an uptrend. It's not in a near-term uptrend. It's in a long-term uptrend, but it's not. It's not in a near-term uptrend. So this could have been. I mean, it could have been exactly what Nvidia needed to do to get more buyers interested in the stock. We'll see though.
Are you personally worried at all about DeepSeek destroying Nvidia's moat?
Moat, like overall moat, no. I think it's clearly deflated a lot of the I use the term irrational exuberance. I don't know if it was that or not, but it's clearly deflated some of those expectations. Like we saw Goggle going down a little bit. It wasn't. I know you bought some more shares of it. It's okay. It looks okay, but like, look, it's still, this one's stuck.
Yeah,
it's still stuck. So this is going to come down to earnings at this point.
Do you think that's actually good if it's lowering expectations for Nvidia, because then it's maybe a little bit easier for them to show 50% CAGR instead of the market expecting 80% CAGR?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is a little bit of reset again. So there's this area that I would buy, and then I would just ride this as much as I can. Obviously, if it can't. So the thing is, if it can't get back over this middle area, then we probably have a little bit of an issue. I think it could easily stall and go sideways for a bit, but quickly up thrust here. What I don't want to see is this kind of a move and pull back with a big downside. So that's a possible earnings, and that would actually set us up into some kind of new price discovery.
Yeah.
But I actually, it's really not that bad, man.
So why did you didn't buy the dip yesterday only because you have enough Nvidia and it wasn't attractive at 17% down to nibble at it?
There were other things that I was like, oh, okay. So like I'm big into the power space too, like, but I've not owned my cost. I guess it doesn't matter, but like
you haven't nibbled into them until yesterday, basically.
Well, VST, it was like the first thing that I started buying, which was probably a little bit, I started buying a little high. I'm green now, but I started buying a little bit high, but it was just like one where like, dude, I haven't had an opportunity to get into this one. Not really. And it's been on the radar. So I'd like to maybe diversify a little bit in that space between my 3 holdings. And I just had other things on my shopping list, right? Like I don't want to get too overly exposed, because now at this point, I'm actually I'm a little concerned about being overly concentrated in the data center plays after the Arista, Astera, and VST ads. So I'm like, I might be a little overly exposed there.
Right.
Possible.
Okay, so we got that on Nvidia. Can we do Tesla as we get earnings tomorrow?
Is it tomorrow? Are you coming to the? I guess Kathy's coming to the space tomorrow. Is that crazy?
Yeah, she's gonna be live with Evan tomorrow. That'll be fun.
Are you not on it?
I might be able to be on. I might be live too, so I'm gonna have to see.
I mean, you could do both, right?
Yeah, possibly. We could possibly stream it on YouTube too. Possibly. There's a way.
Okay, so
before you even do TA, you think it's pumps or dumps tomorrow? Just your gut feeling.
I mean, it's
It's a hard one, bro. This is one of the hardest ones.
I'll just put this. It's one of my top holdings, and I'm not hedging.
Okay.
I don't know that it goes up either. If it's to be fair, it's grown into one of my top holdings from these buys. And I haven't really gotten the opportunity to really load. I've bought a little bit in here, but I would be happy to buy some more. We're still at 350, but like at this point, we're sitting on the 200-day SMA. I mean, the 50-day, sorry, which is this blue line. It's pinned right now. So it's pinned basically right in between these two. So any kind of like blip on the radar down would be fine. And if it starts to get bought up quickly, like if I got this in the pre-market and it starts to do this early, I would probably just start going for it. I might wait the 3-day rule, maybe not. But this would be the downside. Let's do it this way. So I'm going to do, what day is today? Oh, Thursday. By the way, if you're not following me, can you put my thing up? Thursday, I'm going to do a free earnings trading workshop.
Oh, that'll be fun.
How to trade options through earnings. And we're going to do a lot of this kind of stuff. But yeah, register for that. That's pinned
on your Twitter, right at the top.
Yeah, there's a little link to register. It's January 30th. We're 30 minutes after the market close. Yeah.
That's gonna be me tomorrow if Elon says Optimus is gonna print for them one day.
Yeah. So what I'm looking at Nvidia. I needed to see Tesla. See, you got me all.
Wow, Reddit 201 broke 200 after hours.
Really?
Goodness, dude.
That was a good one.
Not bad. Chat
Nice
says
upgrade today.
54% say dump, over 46% say pump.
So it's not about that for me. It's about like, cool. If it dumps, where would it dump to? If that makes sense. So I want to be ready, and I'm ready. I guess they are saying like, look, our 12, so just about 13% is average move. Are they ready, or is the market expecting like big moves? Oh, look at this. So this line that I had drawn, that's about 14%. That is an average move for Tesla. So it is that 350 area that we were talking about not too long ago. So it's still that area. Upside would basically put it right back in here. So the average move is about 13%, give or take. And yeah, so this is the box really that here, I'll just do this. That Tesla's in, and it's right in here. So with this context, I guess it's like, and then you take the context of like, here's the potential move on earnings one way or the other, right? Do I really care if it dumps? No, because I'll still be buying.
If we see 370, 365, you wouldn't care.
350s, right? I'll still be buying, right? Like, I don't know that we do, but if it does have it, and also at the same time, if it has an average move to the upside, it's basically still in this accumulation phase. So to me, it's like, okay, so let's say we go up, it would go up to maybe 450, but then I would expect it to come back down, and we'd still see this chop to that 415 area, which is exactly what we're talking about now. Or if it comes down right into this area and I get that 350, cool, I would expect to see it kind of base, and then we're right back to this area, right? So So that's me. I'm not expecting this, but I suppose it could happen if I saw like a big rejection.
I feel like the call would have to go super bad too to be below 350, right? Like, I mean, the numbers we know are not going to be horrible. They're going to be not the best, but they're not going to be god awful.
So for earnings, I actually might model something that gives me the opportunity to make money in either one of these scenarios. So when it comes to earnings, and this is what we'll teach on that free webinar, is like, if I know that this is the average, the statistical outcome, either up 14% or down 14%, is there a trade that I can put on that will make money in both scenarios? And 9 out of 10 times there actually is.
Yeah.
And so that's likely what I'll do.
Okay, so bull case, you see Tesla, what, 420, bear case 360? That's kind of
450.
450 if it really pumps.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Can we do Palantir?
Yeah, Jay. So, it's here, Jay. Jay, I like the off-straddle strategy. So we'll teach this in that webinar. Come by, but it's not a straddle necessarily. We'll find out. We'll find out if these are overpriced or not. Did you say Palantir?
Yes, which is now back at 80 Dolores today.
I mean, so this one full gap fill and close above. Dude, this is bullish. So, I mean, so we saw this, right? And when we actually, over the last couple weeks, if you rewind, do you have Technical Tuesdays in a playlist?
No. Well, I could do that, but they're all just part of the market close.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we can put them in an actual playlist. So
I don't know if it matters, if people, you guys tell him if it's reference or not. So I posted this. We talked about this level. We actually watched this trade live. This is $60-something. It's the same kind of thing, right? So I'm looking at this higher low, and then I'm looking for an extension. This is your textbook bearish to bullish type of reversal. Had it started to go any higher? And we saw this again. We saw this live. But what we talked about this doing was we talked about it going somewhere in this area up here, and then possibly going sideways, and then having a little bit of a dip that may end up being bought. But it's this. It was this. What is it? This key. These guys in the 71 level. Right. So at this point, I know, hey, it's going to 71. We get there, we reject, we're up again. We should see this kind of, we call like a volume shelf. So watch this volume profile on the right-hand side of the screen. Come on.
is it playing out? Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah, so it's changing. So there's no sellers or there's no buyers in this where it's just gray. That's only selling. So we expect this to fill and possibly get up to here. That actually happens. We cross that 20-day simple.
Yeah.
We actually get right over. And I said, I don't know if you guys remember, I was like, don't expect this to continue on too much further. So this was target acquired, right, on the trade. And then if you want to see this hold, it's still this 71 level. That day, when it came down, it was down, but look what was happening, right? So we'll zoom in one more time. Who's buying this in the pre-market? At that 71 level, which happens to be the 50-day. This is the open. Did it close on the lows?
Well, it's definitely people stepping in.
It definitely didn't close on lows. So what you can see is like you're seeing people still stepping in. So whether or not this is kind of like, let's just bring this to where we are now. I think you're right back in here. I still would say, hey, look, you're probably consolidating. This is probably going to be a show me story. It might go a little sideways from here, but I think that some of the pre-earnings jitters are already out, but you're back to that crazy setup just in front of earnings, which is like, whoa, all right, we're at the highs. But that said, this whole thing now, right? If you look at this now, you have this group of buyers, you got a little liquidity grab, and then they're starting to step in here. So if you get this kind of area, that's cool. You'd really want to see this 71 kind of level hold. And I know that's really far away from 80, but look, Palantir moves. I mean, how much was it up? 6% in a day. That's not that abnormal for Palantir. What I'd say is that here's where we stopped now, right? So 82 and change, and you get this little group. If you get over 82.70, so that's where they were selling the day before yesterday. That's where they broke down here. I might be able to identify this like even cleaner. 81.
For those asking about the SARs, that's going to be an earnings specific thing, and that, none of us know what's going to happen, but at least from the technicals, we're trying to figure out.
So I'm going to do this. I'm going to grab this. So this was December 9th high in the open market right there. So it's a big breakdown right here. You see it?
Yeah.
Okay. And then as we move forward, it's the same line. We see it struggle again, get through in a low liquidity session, which is pre-market again, and then a big breakdown here. So this level's just under 81. I think this becomes key pivot, right? Holding over. They pressed it. Somewhat buying here. But really, where so this is 81, right? So where I'm starting to see big candles. Here's a big candle. This is a decent candle. This is a pretty big series of candles. This is a big candle. This is a big price point where velocity really tends to get cranked up on Palantir, right? So as we approach, here's where we are. I see, here it is again, right? 81. So this becomes, I think, what you should really be cautious of is this $81 kind of pivot, if you will, of like, okay, so the bulls were a little bit exhausted. I think the question now becomes, was this liquidity grab similar to an Nvidia where like maybe this is exactly what Palantir needed to get through, but where does it need to get through? It's 81. It needs to get through and hold with a close above. So has Palantir gotten a close above 81? It's gotten one close on it, a second close on it. It's only gotten two closes fully above 81 here.
Yeah.
So if you start to see multiple closes above 81, or you're just over 85, obviously, then I think you're good. So that's what it would take. What I'm going to do now is like, okay, so what does this trajectory of this consolidation mean in terms of if it was to be accumulation, meaning like net, everybody was accumulating in here. Where should this take you? Do you have 97 on your docket?
Well, Steve has 250, so I have 300.
I had 125.
Dude, when we get to 100, like it's gonna be
so this takes you to 98. Right in here, 95 to 98, right in there.
Wow.
So of this move, this is currently, I'm just going to make this red because it's currently overhead sellers. So you're running into sellers right now, right here. So do the sellers run out of steam, and were the buyers able to accumulate enough here, and here to really press this higher? If so, this is where it should go, just as a very simple measured move.
A lot of that's still being contingent that Q4 is an amazing earnings at the end of the day. Because if we tank them, if we have a crappy earnings, the chart doesn't matter at that point.
Sure. So let's do the same. Let's see if this will line up, right? So Palantir. Oh my God, dude. Palantir is a mover.
It's going to be at least 25%, something like that is the average.
Not really. So it can have an outsized move.
I'd say 15 to 20% is usually
17% average move.
There you go.
So from here, 17%, this is 20%. Depending on where you start, let's say you started, here, that would probably be upside, and then downside. Look at that. So
65.
It's the same thing here. Whereas, like, if this is the average move of Palantir, I don't know that I really care. Quite frankly, dude.
Yeah, because if it goes back to 65, that's not crazy. We just had that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? So that's an average downside move on Palantir. The question is whether if you get here, then you're going to get back up to the 71. 71 is crucial, right? So this right here is what you don't want to see, this last piece. You don't want to see those 71 buyers turn into sellers post earnings. And this is easy, right? So if it goes up, right, you want to see it could come down, but you want to see these buyers, these prior buyers or sellers turn into buyers.
Yeah, and the fun thing is most longs are buyers at 65. So like it's not going to hurt.
We're all
really not going to hurt.
65.
Like people have been waiting to add to this thing, and we had 60 for a week, but then it went away quickly. So even people didn't really get a chance to add there. Yeah.
So, I mean, for something for Palantir, like it's not really until it's below 60 that I'm going to be like, oh shit. Right. Like if you're below 60, you're like, all right, something fishy here. Cause below 60, you're going to see 45 to me. And you're erasing a lot of earnings, but on this coming report, let's say it's a 20% downside, it's 60, 65, right? So, and even if you do get there, you're probably going to pop back up to that 71, and then you'll get a chance to make that decision.
Yeah, earnings would have to be horrendous, I think, to drop below 60. Like something would have to go wrong, and I personally don't think it could be that bad of an earnings. Unless the algos come in and they get really upset about EPS misses or whatever. Like, but outside of that, I don't think they're going to guide for less than 30% growth.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's the question, right? Like, is the street really looking for like 50%?
Yes. I think they'll be okay if we don't have 50%, but they're not going to be okay if we have 25%.
Yeah.
Okay, can we do
so look, dude, $65 buys, I guess, isn't so bad if the target is 125.
Oh no,
that's good. But that was supposed to be a 1-year target. We're already back to 80. The market is moving so fast, dude. Like it's just crazy. Dan
Ives said 90, so like it keeps getting upgraded across the street. And it'll be really funny though if we get to 90, because then a lot of these bearish analysts like Brent Thill, who has us at 28.
Yeah,
like, you're gonna have to get a little upgrade, I would imagine.
I just want to know when Robinhood's gonna be the same price as Palantir. That's all I really want to know.
Hood next. What do we got on Hood?
All right, so this is Robinhood. So I'm gonna take this from a way back, right? This is a daily scale, but I'm looking at a lot. I mean, first of all, it looks pretty good. It looks decent. So this is one where I'm like, okay, I would love to see a great quarter. Here we go. So this is what, 45.
Dude, we've been holding the high 40s for the past week nicely.
Have you realized I was doing some family statements the other day and I'm like, oh, dude, October, November was just like an epic like quarter. And I'm like, where did all that come from? And I'm like, oh, it came from here.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit. So in the last quarter, and this is the only thing where I'm like, okay, let's be real, guys. Since October, I mean, this is September, we're up 174% in 3 months, which is good, but
it's a little scary, right?
It is, right? It really is. I'd love to see it. This is one where I am actually thinking potentially hedging because it's grown to be my largest position.
Yeah.
When I say hedging, I don't mean selling upside calls. That's not what I want to do on this. If I'm going to hedge this type of position, I'm going to buy puts, if that makes sense. I'm not going to buy a lot of time. It's just going to be for the event. And I'm going to buy them like right before the close. And I was looking at $45 puts, which again, a good hedge goes to zero, right? I would love to see that expire completely worthless. I just want to see it. I don't want to do it until if hood's back over 50. Okay, cool. I'll think about adding those on. But for right now, I'm not doing anything. It's just on my radar, because it's so damn big. But anyways, that said, I think this is where we are. So it was almost like a preemptive Powell plunge. Like, do you remember the Powell plunge of like early whatever? It was like a preemptive one. So as long as we're holding this order block, and hood's not as clean to chart as Palantir has become. Palantir was like this earlier, but as it's going up and to the right, it's getting a little crazy. I will say that actually, we monitor this, the distance between the simple moving averages actually expanding. So again, I'm happy with this, right? The distance between the 50 and the 200 actually still expanding. This is where we get like potential serious Momo. But
wait, can you explain what does that mean? The distance between the 50 and 200 expanding? Why is that good?
So if the white line is the 200-day simple, the blue line is the 50-day simple. A lot of people, and we teach this in like our mastermind stuff, or we'll teach it in the next mastermind. But that's when you see like momentum, right? So like, when will momentum really kick in? It's like Tesla, as an example, always a good one to show as an example. You play this simple moving average ping pong, if you will, in between these. And as they get really close together, we know that you're in a consolidation phase, right? It's not until you're really tight like this, ideally this kind of tight, that when you get this and then the distance, so this is the blue line is the 50, the red line is the 200. Even over here, like all of these, look how choppy this is getting. You're consolidating. And then essentially like the distance between these, the 50 and the 200 here, you start to see this first begins to expand, right? And you get this kind of Momo, regardless of what's going on. I can show you different examples. And same thing here, major Momo. It works both ways. So here's Tesla from a downside perspective, right? Really tight. All these SMAs, I mean, you don't get this kind of tight. But again, once you start to expand the distance between them, this Momo is really kicking in. And then like, hey, look, all right, so right here, you've reclaimed. It can bounce, but net on this, you're contracting. So even though this is a big bounce from here to here, the distance between these simple moving averages is doing what? It's coming down, contracting this entire time. And so you want to look for those setups where you're actually really tight and you're starting to expand. That's going to be better. So contracting, expand. So that's your momentum.
Right.
So Tesla here, this is contraction. It's about to get really tight. Post earnings, it's going to be boom. It's going to be very clear whether or not if it goes up, right? This 20-day is going to curl up. This 50-day is going to continue on, and the distance between the simple moving averages is going to start to expand, and we're going to be back on the up and up. Does that make sense? If it goes down, it's the same thing. Your 50-day is going to be here, but your 20-day is going to be here, and the distance between these simple moving averages is going to be expanding to the downside in that instance.
Right.
So that's just it's just a way to see like what stock is ready, if you will, to move, and which ones are not really ready to make big moves. And if you're in like a stock, you just want to, like, here's Palantir. Look at this. Like, you're pretty tight. This is very consolidated. This whole time from here, this is consolidation. These are getting tight. You could post earnings start to get some serious momentum. So if it continues higher, having a trajectory like this is not that's not like out of the realm of serious like possibility, because what's going to happen? These SMAs, the distance between them, they're going to be expanding.
So you're saying Hood having that momentum between the simple moving averages is leading up to a really strong earnings catalyst, theoretically, that could explode.
The potential to have a move is still very much there.
Even after the run it's had so far.
Even after the run it's had. So as long as it's holding this 45, I think that's where it's crucial to me. So and that's also why I was looking at, if I were to hedge something off, it would be at the $45 level, but I would like to buy that. Like if Hood went up here, I would actually like to buy $40 to $5 puts as a potential cheap hedge. Like
and Hood tends to dump on earnings, to be honest.
Does it?
Or at least it tends to be flat. I haven't had an earnings on Q4 2023. It was up like 7%, but usually it takes a week for the market to digest Hood's.
Yeah. So Hood does the monthly like reports, right?
Yeah. So everyone knows the results. Yeah.
Anytime you have a stock that does that, that's usually get a little bit muted. But this doesn't look horribly muted. I got my update today, by the way, on Hood.
You got futures?
And yeah, I was getting SPX options.
9% roundabout.
Did I get this right? 7.2.
I still don't have futures yet, but the app, they ditched the neon green for anyone who downloaded it. They got rid of that, and now it's normal.
So 9%, right? So what does that take us to?
That would be 52 or 43 roundabout, I think.
Yeah, 53s, which is upside target. Or 45.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so like a put hedge would be for the quick move, and I would probably keep it on at that point. Or I might roll down a little bit, depending. But so this is the box now that Hood lives in, which, maybe it's worth a, like overnight hedge, but I mean, you're going to know if it's thing is that if it's 45, okay, cool. I'll hedge for this one because I wouldn't expect this to go down further than 40s at this point. See all these guys. So all of this buying,
dude, which is wild because that's a lot of support at those levels. I'd be fine buying again at 45 if we get there. It also makes a great place to sell puts around that range.
38. Yeah, so this could be like a realistically, it could be like a 45-35 put debit spread. And then if you get the short-term move to the downside, sell the $45 put that you profited on and just keep your $35 short put.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I don't know if you guys, that's a little bit more in and out.
It's not a horrible idea though. It's not a horrible idea to hedge.
But I might even do that. You could do, we'll probably teach advanced options later, but like buy 145, sell 235s.
Oh, well, we might as well tell everybody right now. Options 201 is Jason. He's going to be joining me.
Yeah. There you go.
So in about 2 weeks, options 201 will be with Jason, and we'll get even deeper into the Greeks on that lesson in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I saw you doing that the other day, and I was like, all right, I want to play.
Yeah, that was good. Good because 201, 101, I think I can do 201, 301, 401. I need some help, so it'd be good to have.
Yeah, and plus we have our mastermind, which is really geared towards taking like somebody that has like some basic level knowledge of options and trading and taking them to the absolute next level, becoming world class. But the beginner to intermediate stuff, I don't spend a whole lot of time on. So we used to have some on the YouTube channel, so I'm happy to do it for you guys gratis, like pro bono for sure. I love it. I have fun doing that stuff too.
All right, can we do SOFI?
Yeah. So do you guys, do we have a poll? Has Amit sold his SOFI or not?
Dude, just
because
because I
I
went on a
I
rant
texted
today,
him today, you guys, and I was like, dude, I'm not liking your commentary lately, dude.
I'm allowed to critique the company and still buy the stock. Okay, like that's all right. No, dude, I still have my shares. I bought shares before earnings. I hated their SoFi Plus initiative when I found out about their go-to-market last night. But
So I mean, SoFi to me, it's still like I said, I'm not a SoFi user, so you know, there's that. I you know, to me, SoFi was like number 5 on the top 5 list, if you will. Like it was a toss-up. Is really like down towards 5. I'm not getting that much more between. I get pretty spread out, but I don't hate this, right? So we talked about this exact level. This is the same thing. This is your consolidation, right? This was that center point of our like broadening formation or price discovery mode. So this has not changed to me at all, right? So we're still in that kind of setup. So, but as long as we're holding this center line, $16, which, you know, multiple times throughout the day, yesterday, today, we saw this dip down to 15, you know, trade below 16 for a majority of the day. And then all of a sudden you're like, you blink and you're like, all right, you're closing over 16. So that's crucial, right? And so we're starting to see accumulation in this box down here in this red box. I think we can change this to green. But what I want to see is it get completely out of this, right? So right now they're still kind of hesitant, right? And it's mostly because of your commentary on your channel that people are listening to, and they're not so sure how strongly you feel about it. But you know, it's interesting, right? So like, I like this still. Again, same thing from yesterday, right? So yesterday's pre-market lows, 15. We were talking about $14 being like the area to grab or just below before. So this is where we're talking about buying last time.
yeah,
And now if we're talking about picking it up at 15, I mean, that's still generally bullish, right? Like, so I want to see people picking it up higher than where I saw them picking up before. So
right.
if they were picking it up at 14 before, and I now see them picking it up at 15. Okay, cool. I actually like that, right? So this is the spot, like $15. And again, you know, if this starts to rebound, look at this setup, right? How close are these SMAs? Very tight. So as long as this has little higher lows, it doesn't have to be big higher highs, but little higher lows, even if this is the trajectory, super chop like this, what's going to happen, right? What we're going to see happen is this 20-day continue. The 50-day is going to flatten out, but we're going to see the distance between them expand to the upside, which is what we want to see.
Yeah, and there's nothing to be bearish about when it comes to SoFi. I think when I go on my rants about what I don't like about them, it's because Palantir and Robinhood are product-focused companies, and their product is what sells the stock, essentially, because the product is so good, you get all this growth. But SoFi has never been product-oriented to me. It's a bank that does lending, that has this loan platform, but the product itself, the app, I've never enjoyed. You know, and so that's my issue with them. But that does not mean at all that these guys can't get to 25 by the end of the year just off.
Yeah, no. And for me, it was still like it's a rate play that's a little bit longer term. I still think that we're peaked out on the rates, we're maxed out on the rates. I think that's happening, right? I think Trump coming in, he might not get Powell to budge, but look, he's going to have somebody else come in. We know that he wants lower rates. I mean, that's generally bullish for the banking situation, for the loan generation. And at the same time, we have like less regulation for the whole cohort of banks. I'm not putting this in a tech like bucket. I'm just not. I don't think I ever have. But financials, I don't hate it. And if this is going to be the next gen financial, like, okay, so what if SoFi is really the next generation financial company, like for Gen Z?
See, I don't really believe that at all.
What?
I don't believe that.
I mean, what if that's what it is, right?
But that's not what it, dude. You can't do anything. Like, it's just like, it's a good app and it'll grow, but it's not the next generation financial product for gens. I don't see that vision.
I mean, so what?
I think they're going to sell a lot of loans, which is great, but
yeah, And they'll make money on those loans.
Yeah, but to be a financial one-stop shop, I think that vision is tough to see.
You
I mean,
never
you
know.
don't even use SoFi, bro. Like a lot of people I don't use it either. I invest, but I invest in SoFi.
We
But
don't. I don't use SoFi. So I gotta give it that, right? I don't use SoFi.
Dude, Tanner doesn't even use SoFi. Like, well, he's in Canada. That's a different reason. But
Does he?
a lot of people I know don't use it. But they believe in it, which is fine. But when we talk about actually using the product, I don't know. There's not that many people there.
I don't hate it, right? So there's risk here because this is still, to be fair, this is still in price discovery mode. We got to the top end of this range. But if it fails handedly, right, below, let's say 15, then I don't, here's what I'll also say, then I don't think that the $14 players are going to step in again. Does that make sense?
You think if we hit 14, they won't step in? That's your question?
That's what I think. I think they will not.
Why? Why wouldn't they step in?
I mean, because if you're throwing it away at 15, 16 bucks, then you don't want it at 14. You want it probably a lot lower, like 12.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
And if that's the case, since you're such a bear, it's the broad information. Again, we're still price discovery. That's what you're looking at.
Dude, I just think SoFi is going to go through what Palantir, Robinhood, RKLB went through, and by the end of the year, this thing's going to be 20 to 25. Like I think that's will happen with their natural growth, but in the short term, there's going to be moments like, for example, yesterday they have some pretty shitty EPS guidance, and then the street's like, well, this wasn't the rockstar quarter we thought you were going to give us.
Guidance?
Yeah, for 2025.
But he doesn't give good guidance.
Well, that's because they always sandbag. But even I was talking to Tanner about this. He was like, he knows they sandbag, but he was like, he finally wanted a quarter where they didn't sandbag and they just kind of, bang the table and said, hey, we're here. And they didn't do
quite
it.
Frankly, I'll tell you this much. On Google, they're the same way, right? Google's exactly the same.
That's fair.
I will say for Google coming, I would expect very similar, right? Where like maybe you do good, but the guidance, they don't. They always set it up for, under
promise,
over deliver always. So
Palantir might do the same as well. Palantir might do the same this time as well.
Really?
I don't know, because if they guide for 40% growth, I think the street might be like, all right, they're going to give us 50. But if they guide for 32, the street's like would be happy if they got 40 to 45. You know, so I don't know the dynamics on how they're going to play. But last quarter they didn't do that. Last quarter they said, hey, we grew 30% and we're here. And in the title of the press release, they were like, our AI demand is not stopping. Like,
so yeah, and that's like a paradigm shift, right? In terms of like guidance, right? So like if that's what you were looking for on SoFi this time, unfortunately, if that's what you're going to be looking for on Google this coming time, and you don't get it, well, don't be surprised, I guess.
Okay, so last thing on SoFi, are you buying at 15 right here or no? So you call me the bear, and you can't even answer.
I think so. Like if I see it, and I don't. So for me, buying like
it's a yes or no. Are you buying at 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
That's all you have to say. That's all you have to say.
Definitively, yes. I'll be buyer at 15.
I don't like your enthusiasm here. There is zero enthusiasm I'm getting.
I bought it yesterday.
When'd you buy it?
At over 15. So I mean, like, it wasn't even 15 yet. It was at the close, or it was like, actually, it was 16 and a quarter.
Yeah. 16.25. Yeah.
So here's what I did, right? So I have equity for sure, right? And what I say when I say I bought it, I had bought those leaps, right? The Jan 2027 leaps. And my last ad was in here. They were like $300 or whatever when I was adding. And then they were 500 before the quarter. So I trimmed those and I bought what I sold back. Is that fair? I don't know.
I mean, that's fair. It's just not enthusiastic about.
I bought what I sold back. And if I see it in this area, here's another one, dude. This is weird. So because SoFi always sells off every quarter, there might have been a lot of people just like me who sold coming into the report and now are going to start accumulating. That would be a case of where 14 does hold up.
I sold some 1350 put, so I actually was bullish after earnings. Like I sold put.
So maybe they do. So if 14, like, because if you sold the equity, then you're probably going to reaccumulate. This is how this is like the trajectory, right? Like you start reaccumulating after the report.
Well, look, if it gets to 1350, I'll be happy to be assigned on my shares. I sold 20 of them, so that'd be 2,000 shares. So I wouldn't mind at 1350 if we get there.
Yeah. What'd you get for those?
Like 2%, 25 cents. Can we look at SMCI?
I don't think you're gonna get assigned that, dude. You locked up a bunch of cash there, brother. Hey, look, so I took the bet with you. I'm not doing good. I'm not doing good on this SMCI.
Wait, what did you do? You bought SMCI or no?
Yeah. So I bought shorter dated calls because it was out of that. It was coming out of this one. And my plan was to hedge those short dated calls right before earnings. First of all, these freaking guys have yet to really confirm like their earnings call. So I'm like, what the hell, guys? I think it's February 7th.
I don't know when the earnings call is going to happen. No one knows. So
yeah, it's preliminary. I've not closed this, but it's taken it on the chin. So it's a little bit too deep for me to hedge because I was thinking like 32s puts as the hedge. I'll still have to do it again, but right now I'm not adding. I'm just going to sit here in this little drawdown. I think so. Today there was some pretty interesting flow. That was targeting more along the lines of like this 36-ish area for a pop on earnings. But I think, this was the box that I said like initially between 27 and 37 that I think SMCI lives in. So by no means am I a seller of SMCI here. It's not going to happen. I'd rather be a buyer down towards this area. And even if I'm net long, I'm not going to hedge this at this point. It wouldn't be unless we were up in the top end that I would really be considering a hedge. But this is the box I think SMCI lives in for a little bit. And I do think, look, if we see semis start to rebound, if we see like the power plays start to rebound, edge networking, and maybe even Dell or some other stuff. Like, look, I think these guys are all going to have a good quarter. It's going to come down to guidance. And then for some, like an SMCI, it's going to come down to whether or not you believe that you believe them, right? And I think they're going to have a good quarter or report a good quarter. But again, this is where I would rather be a buyer on SMCI in that 27 to 28 range, even for equity, actually. So right here, I think you start to take the shot.
Yeah, and I agree with Futbucker here. Way more upside to SMCI than downside unless they actually did cook the books.
Which, by the way, you're not going to know on this earnings report, right? So like they're not going to say
no.
What?
I think they have to come out and say that we're clean. Like I think they have to say, hey, we've been audited and we're good. Like
I know, but my point is there's like zero chance that they're going to come out and say we've been audited and we're screwed.
I see your point.
Like that's just not going to happen to me. It would have to be another agency because they would not like to admit that themselves. But I think this is where you look.
Dude, if SMCI gets delisted, I think that'll be.
It is delisted.
No, from the NASDAQ, delisted from that would get Nvidia
from the stock market.
Yeah, if on February, I think 23rd, if they don't file all their shit, they get delisted. They got an extension a month ago to wait until the end of February.
Oh, okay. I don't from the but they'd still be a stock, right? They just might not be on the NASDAQ.
Yeah, they would be on. Correct.
They'll be on the other one.
Correct.
I had some people like DM me a while ago when they were potentially getting delisted from the queues and like, I'm short puts. What am I going to do? I was like, no. It's not like the stock's going to go bankrupt or disappear. Like you're okay.
Okay. Can we do, before we do Rocket Lab, can we do Micron? Because people are really upset about this one.
What are you upset about Micron? Well, okay, so SMCI, look, this is where they were picking up. I think that my gut is that this actually takes it tomorrow, like in short order to the upside. Is that and it is what it is.
Dude, it's a gamble at this point. I have no idea, but I hope it's good.
Micron is in the box, man. So we like to play the edges. This is the edge of your box. This is the up top of the box. I mean, this is not an exciting stock. It's never to me been like that exciting of a stock. Even when I was doing all this, I wasn't like a stock talk. It was like HBF, whatever, high bandwidth memory. But I think this is the term is play the edges, right? So this is the edges, and if you're accumulating, I think that very soon here, this is a long. If you believe the data center stuff, right? It's weird that okay. So this is more about Nvidia too than Arista or any of the network components, because it's in server components. I think like 85s still, this is fair value, or like low value in the 85. So like it's like cheap in the stock market terms. And then 110s is just expensive. So I would expect this to continue to hold unless something fundamentally changes, which could be tomorrow. I believe we have ASML.
Yes, tomorrow.
So this is going to be crucial. So tomorrow, ASML goes, again, wound pretty tight. These guys are going to affect a lot, right? So like ASML does good. It's pre-market.
Yeah, usually they do pre-market. Yeah.
Yeah, in the morning. Then you'll see Micron and everybody else continue, like, just bounce, right? So it's going to come down to ASML.
If ASML tanks, bro, I don't have the best for Micron or TSM or any of these guys.
Yeah. So tomorrow is crucial, not because of FOMC, that's in the back half of the day, but it's crucial because of ASML is the first major semi.
But why don't you think Micron's bouncing with Nvidia today?
I mean, that's what I think. It's just like it's the first knee jerk that people go to was Nvidia, and I think Micron, just the personality of Micron as a stock, it's always been a laggard, right? In the semi sector, it always moves last. It's like Square or XYZ now is in that little crypto group. It's always the last one. Like you might see Coin going, MSTR going, Robinhood going, and all your other crypto proxies. And there you have Square just like really not doing anything, maybe even going down. And then the others come back a little bit, and then boom, all of a sudden Square wakes up. Right. It's just that is how Micron acts.
Right. Okay. Can we do Rocket Lab? And then we'll do AMD after that, guys.
So I mean, the space stocks, dude, I like this. I like this Rocket Lab up here. If it goes any higher, like you're gonna get that again expansion. It's tight. So I think, to me, like, dude, I just the 24s, the 21s. Now, what's it gonna be? It's gonna be sub 30. I'm still seeing this kind of bullish price action, right? Where I'm still seeing like, yeah, higher highs, and I'm still seeing these lows get bought, like in whatever session it is, intraday. As I watch this, I see this price action, like, oh, bing, they bought it, right? So you have the 20-day at 27, and I think this is the area. I mean, honestly, so 2681, and then at worst 2450. So I'll go ahead and put an order in now for 25.
Wow. This guy's bullish, huh?
Is that bullish? I don't know if that's bullish or not.
This guy likes the space stocks. I mean,
Yeah,
I was thinking of selling some puts at 25, to be honest. but
I like the space stocks. Because the whole I think it still stays as a theme. Look at my freaking red wire, dude. Like, it has not come down.
Rocket Lab hasn't come down. I was up 30%.
No, neither one of them. Right. So I like it as a theme, a speculative theme. It's not like massive. So the only thing I'd be somewhat concerned about, but not really, because this is small cap, like medium cap stock, is this little gap down here to 2024 and change. That's about the 50 days. So that's why I put it at 50 at 25. Is, you know, it'll basically ping me and be like, oh, okay, do you want to buy more or not? Then I'll evaluate.
Would you sell covered calls on Rock Lab?
No.
You think it gets too much of a runner?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we do AMD? Let me guess. You're bearish now.
No. I'm neutral. It's at the same spot it was before when I said I'm not going to short it.
You were bullish last week. You got to be bullish again. You got to love it at 113 if you loved it at 113. You know, the only person that phrase doesn't apply to is you, because you'll have a trader. Yeah, you'll have a stop loss and be like, I'm not bullish anymore, bro. I don't give a fuck about it.
No, you'll know when I'm talking about certain things. Like, you'll know, like, there are certain stocks that I just like. I love, like Arista. I love it at 100. I'm going to absolutely marry it at 85, right? Like, no question. So, you know, like Palo Alto, I loved it at 75, at 175. I would have married it at 150. So there are investments and then there are trades, obviously. So, you know, AMD is doesn't go in the investment category. Like, you hear me talking about Tesla. I like it at 350. I'm going to love it at 320.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So are you still in this trade or you're out?
No, I'm out. Like, I honestly, I took it, like over here, and then it got super choppy, and I was just like, I'm not in love with it. So I'm just like, I'm out of here. I took my profits and I left. I did not short it. And I'm not short this name. Although I think they've been getting downgrades and stuff. You know, where I would go with this is, like, I think we talked about it last time. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit, take my drawings off. So even if you're looking at this from a very long-term perspective and you're looking for, if this is the structure that you're looking at, let's call it from a monthly perspective. If you're looking at this from a monthly perspective and saying, hey, this is a net like uptrend, okay, because you're like lows, higher high, low, higher high. So now you have to see, like, where is my higher low going to show up, right? And I think you have to, it's right in here. So this is a different view maybe than some. Here's a weekly chart. So these are very long-term charts. And what I'll do now is I'm just going to open some things. I'll throw those moving averages on. And this purple line is that 200-week simple moving average. And what I'd say is, like, the 200-week simple moving average, like this, it's never a bad spot to buy, even in this is $6, right? And you haven't gotten it to here. But what I would do is I would hone in on this moment here. If you really like AMD, so it could breach this 200-week, this purple line, which is why I don't ever suggest to use SMAs as like support, dynamic support resistance. It's always about, like, you know, the trajectory and velocity and the distance, right? We're coming out of an area where the distance between them was expanding. Now, I think we're going to go into a contraction where I think the distance between these SMAs are going to contract. But what does that look like? I would totally let this breach whatever this 200-week is on Nvidia or AMD moving forward. Then I would wait for a higher low. So you have a low, and I would wait for a higher low underneath that 200-week simple moving average. And so this may go down, and I would want to see this go down. It can go down and it might come up, but once I get a higher low below that purple line, I think that's fine. Like, that's where you want to be looking. I'm going to take some of these lines off so it's not so busy.
By the way, the Navy just banned DeepSeek. Go ahead.
The Navy just banned DC. But where does that take me on this perspective? It's still around $100, right? So it's still this area here. And even if it gets there, I wouldn't expect a big breakout. Like you might get a 10, 15% bounce. Then I would, if you got there, I would expect to come back down. This is the one here. I would say, okay, I would be interested in picking it up. At that point, maybe we, the only thing that would take this and throw it like straight up into the, like, this is not going to happen, is if they have some kind of announcement on earnings that just makes it go up, whatever that is. Better than feared type of earnings scenario. But just the same, I think you're in an area where you could have one more downside move, but I don't think it's going to have a lot more downside in it than one more flush. But I'm not going to be interested in buying that next one, because I still think it's going to be an opportunity cost, because it's still going to be in consolidation mode. Did we lose audio too? Your video went down. AMT is garbage.
Sorry. I think it was not. I had to charge my Mac. I'm good now. Dude, I'm forgetting every day to plug in the chart. It's like every stream.
Dude, I'm gonna send you. There's a little power cable that has a battery on the other end, and you plug it into the wall, and then it goes into the battery socket of the camera, and it's just plugged into DC.
No, it's not the camera. It's my computer, bro. Like my Mac. My camera's always plugged in. The camera's fine.
Are you on a laptop?
Yeah. but it's a decked out laptop. It's $2,500 laptop, and I have my other Mac right here. But the laptop's just better for streaming for some reason.
Oh my goodness!
But it's a good one. It's a powerful laptop. But okay, so AMD, so what does 95 get you interested? Like, what really makes you back up the truck?
So I think it'll bottom somewhere around there, right? Somewhere around $100. It'll probably bottom. But am I interested in buying it? No. Okay. I'm just not, right? Like, I still think, okay, bottoms there, and it'll probably start going back up, but like your upside would be basically where it is now, 115, maybe 120. So it's like 20%, but I think that would have to be like a 9-month trajectory or 6-month trajectory after it bottoms. So I'm not super into it. Whereas, Nvidia, it could just be, 117 and then 130.
Okay. Can we do MicroStrategy?
We can't do MicroStrategy without first doing Bitcoin, right? Okay, or do you just want to do
No, let's do Bitcoin. Yeah, let's do Bitcoin.
Well, so MicroStrategy, I don't think you press the shorts.
He bought more on Monday.
Oh, did they change this website? No. He definitely bought more.
He brought 10,000 more.
Nice. I hate how they do this. This website's, somebody got to give me another website. There are other websites like this. So I want to look at dilution. So we know that it was approved. I think the hodlers know that it was coming through. Why
do you think it's at below 350 if Bitcoin's still holding 100? Is it that whole? It's just at the
yeah. So when I was looking here, if loading takes long, I know your site's taking technical difficulties. It's a lot of technical difficulties. Looking at the Bitcoin per share that you own.
Yield per share?
Yeah, Bitcoin per share of MSTR that you own. As long as the dilution is still accretive, you can keep the trajectory. Here you go. So per basic share. So it is actually, I think, going higher. Oh my God. It looked like it was slightly higher. So you're getting a little bit more Bitcoin per share. It was like 1.83, something like that. So, so that said, Bitcoin itself needs to go higher, but this is where I've been at. So we got 1, 2, I still, and this was part of like why I'm not like super bullish Bitcoin here. I think net it's still consolidating, right? So we did get a little bit higher high. We want to see.
It's the end of January, and it looks like we're going to close nicely above 100 for the month. Right? Like that. I feel like that's bullish. That's not bearish.
It's not bearish. Yeah. So if we can hold this and you continue to lock in these higher lows, this is probably okay. I mean, so what could happen is you could have one more liquidity grab in this 90s area. It's possible, right? And if that happens, as long as it's a quick and dirty, that might be what sends us higher. Like quick and dirty, like
quick and dirty.
Yeah, like you blink and it's like poof back over 100. One of those like Saturday night flushers is what it would be.
Are we talking about stocks or what are you talking about?
No, we're talking about Bitcoin.
It's a good answer. It's a good answer. It's a good one.
Quick and dirty Saturday night.
Dirty on a Saturday night, bro. What are we talking about here?
Bitcoin takes a dump on Saturday nights. They fool you. Like they get through the weekend. It looks really great all Saturday. And then something happened. Asian markets open. And then 2 a.m. Saturday or Sunday morning, you're like, what the happened? Because you're down 10%. And then it starts to recover. That's crypto for you. That's just how it is. But you know, right now, like you'd want this to hold to get this trajectory stabilized, right? So if this is 99.5, right? If these sellers become buyers, that's ideal, right? So seller here, we want to see them continually accumulate here. But it doesn't mean like it can't come back down. And that's what I'm saying. If you get one more test down here, I don't think it's that big of a deal, as long as it rebounds pretty quickly.
Okay, so then what's going on with MSTR?
So MSTR, you got some more Bitcoin. I think it's got to be a little bit accretive. It's similar. I don't think that I want to press this. It was just so frustrating of a trade, dude. I'll tell you what. I didn't lose any money on anything. I closed my MSTZ puts yesterday for break even. So I was like, I'm just so over this. But I think this becomes chop zone. So I don't want to continue to stay super short here because I know that they were buying in this area. Right. And I see a little bit more. And this is the prevailing downtrend, which was broken, right? So because I can see a pretty clear prevailing downtrend that it is above and broken, what a textbook like break this retest and hold, that would be a textbook reversal. So I don't want to be short this name right here. If you want to be long, have at it. You're not out of the woods yet. It's this 340 point now here. So this is 339. We can see them really stepping in. So just slightly below it, but like fighting with it. That's when I'm like, okay, it's a little dangerous to be short if we're sitting on it, right? Like I do see them pulling back down, but it could just be like little liquidity grabs. Because if you're really an MSTR bull, you're looking for this low to be a higher low. So it could easily do this. And I don't want to be in front of that from a short perspective. And Bitcoin, I'm not. Okay. If I see this, I'll probably trade it long Friday. This would be a legitimate like 1 day setup.
You know that Twitter group, Irresponsibly Long MicroStrategy?
No.
There's a Twitter group, and I scroll through it sometimes, and there's some people saying this thing's going to 800 in the next 3 months, bro. Like, there's like people that are convinced. Yeah,
I mean, so let's say this happens, right? And let's do this. I'm not one of them, you know. But let's say
you're not bullish.
Not MicroStrategy. I mean, So if this is the consolidation box, just doing it for the MSTR fans, not for anybody else. There it is.
1100.
It's
That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
it's
There you
it's
go.
815, right?
There you go. It's not crazy.
It is not crazy. But at the same time, you would essentially be seeing, you'd be looking at Bitcoin at like 152.
Bro, if
You'd have to be
MSTR
looking.
runs close to 1,000, the amount of FOMO everyone will have, even if it's a Ponzi, it doesn't matter. You're gonna have FOMO. I'm gonna have FOMO. Everyone's gonna be like, "Fuck, dude, why did we not?"
No. So that's why you hear like, okay, I know it's a Ponzi. I believe it. I believe strongly that it's some form of Ponzi.
There are Twitter spaces where they
Doesn't
pray
mean
for
that
Taylor.
you can't make money, right? Where they pray for Sailor. No. Oh my God.
There's no way there's a Twitter space where they pray for Sailor. There's no way that's a thing.
Dude, I wouldn't put it past them, man. I just wouldn't. So MSCI is not going to move at all on earnings. That's for sure. I just, I don't think Bitcoin fails, but it's still in consolidation. I think we gear up for that one more press, maybe, but hopefully. But I don't know exactly when just yet. Like we're gonna need that extra crypto.
Bro, but why don't we just buy it so that we don't have the FOMO when it runs to 1,000?
You mean MSCR?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I said we, not me.
Okay. What do
Like
you want?
we're gonna have FOMO, bro. We know we're gonna have FOMO.
No.
Well,
So
to
like,
be honest, not really, because HUD's gonna run if Bitcoin.
let me just tell you this, Amit. I'm not gonna miss this trade. You might miss this trade, but I'm not gonna miss this trade if it happens.
We need to clip that.
I'm long past the days of letting my personal bias and feelings on a stock like stop me from taking from making money. Like I'm beyond that point. So yeah, I mean, if you want to set a limit order at 325 for a little bit, have at it. I don't, or if you want to buy some SMC, what is the 2x leverage? SMCX at, I don't know.
Did you say SMCI? No, it's MSTX.
Oh, shit.
You combine two Ponzi's together, SMCI and MicroStrategy.
MSTX.
Dude, I don't trust this shit. This is scary shit. This thing right here.
Yeah.
Not after what they did in December with some stupid special dividend, bro. This is weird.
Well, that's how they work because it's a lot of after hours moves and stuff like that. But yeah, okay. So, I mean, 325, I think that you could comfortably set that in there. And if it falls to 285, then you could cut the position and not be on equity and not like cry yourself to sleep every night. I think.
Okay, can we do Meta? Because that's a big one tomorrow, bro.
I mean, okay.
Here's my intuition. I don't like that it's pumping going into earnings. Do you feel the same, or how are you thinking of it? Because it's not just pumping, dude. It's like literally what's up 20% year to date for a large cap. Year to date, okay, 12%, not 20%, but still all-time highs is aggressive. Maybe the rich get richer. Maybe that's it.
So this is one where I might say you could sell some covered calls on, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to sell the position out. And if it pulls back, I'm not seeing my 550 again or my 650 again. I don't think. But if I sold some like 750 calls, does it make sense?
Yeah.
With
why do you type in MicroStrategy, bro? You're obsessed with this stock.
I know. So the magic, and we'll do this in options 201, but the magic number in terms of days to expiration is 45. If you didn't know that, you get the most juice at 45 days to expiration. And that is also the same time, 42 to 45, same time that decay starts to accelerate at the same time. So it'd be like 45 days to expiration. Let's see what we can do. So in this instance, it would be March 7th weeklies. And I said 750 calls. I can collect $11 to sell those, and that's a 20 delta. I'm actually okay with doing something like that.
Wait, what's the strike? 750?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, people are paying $11 for 750.
Right.
Holy crap! For March?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to be more aggressive, you could sell the February 14th 750s because you're getting $7 for that. That's not a bad trade-off, and it's a 0.719 delta.
Huh. So,
but what I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm going to take the average move, and then I'm actually going to double it for this one. Because this is one where I don't want to get called away.
I'm going to put in the chat if you guys think Meta pumps or dumps. Let's see what people think.
So 8% average move.
Which is not crazy for Meta.
Yeah, 8% average move. From here, it would take me to about, if let's say Meta goes up a little bit more, it would take me to almost exactly that 750. So the reason it's like this, so February 14th, 750 and or March 7th, 750 calls either way. Let's say Meta does go to 750. That's okay because you're going to get some volatility decay on those strikes. They're probably going to be near break even anyways, and you'll have the opportunity to roll up and out or just close them for break even, call it a day. And if it does go down, let's say 7% downside from here is really like, it's really just going to be back in here. What I did say I wanted to double it, right?
Yeah.
So 8%. So I would want to double. Oh shit. I want to double this move because I definitely don't want to get called away. So 16%.
But
yeah,
dude,
like
a 750 is a pretty dramatic, like what could they possibly say that takes them that high? Like the street already knows their numbers. They know the CapEx spend is going to be strong unless Zucks takes back his CapEx spend. Like 750 seems
no. So like it's like it might be something like this. So like wasn't DeepSeek built on some llama iteration?
Yes.
And if Meta says we've done our war room analysis and we can now create XYZ for the cost, the shit's going to the moon, bro.
The probability of that happening, I'd say it's low. I don't say it's high.
Okay, so I think real upside. So here's the thing: if I do the February or the March and 750 cover calls, let's say it gets to 770, I'm gonna be about $13 underwater, give or take, on those covered calls from a premium perspective. Like they'll be about $13 negative, $1,300 negative, but I'm still gonna have all the upside that I still keep on the shares themselves. And I would, even if that happens, I would still expect it to come down and like chop somewhere around 725, which in that case, fuck, I'd probably still get out of them for a profit. So that's what I think I'll do.
Zucks was on Joe Rogan. I mean,
talking about masculinity is going to pump.
All right, that's fair on Meta.
And then if it does come down, look, it's into the 585 area.
Yeah. Okay, can we do?
Which is like where I would have been buying anyways.
Can we do Apple?
Should have just bought it, huh?
I mean, dude, I can't hold on to this and sleep.
Just so you guys know, Amit did tell me he was going to buy Apple if he saw it at $200. He said, "I will buy Apple."
I'd buy it at 200, but that's a long way down. We did not get there. No,
we did not get there. So I think this is I think it's still neutral. I'm thankful it didn't go down anymore. I didn't buy it here because I would have been still the same thing. Like, oh, if this goes down, I will sell aggressive covered calls on Apple, and I will sell aggressive covered calls on Microsoft. Just FYI, those things don't usually move beyond their implied moves. It's very rare.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Apple's not the worst candidate to sell calls
Apple
on.
doesn't. No. Look at this. Apple doesn't move on earnings.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. It's very rare. And not Microsoft doesn't either. Microsoft moves a little bit more. But Apple, I think, is gonna be. I think it's probably gonna be 235 after earnings.
Okay. Google.
Yeah, this one is kind of like shot in the dark. Low end could come in somewhere on the 180s. High end 210s. This one does move on earnings.
This one moves like I think 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah, average 7 to 10%.
Do you guys care that I'm spending? Is it okay if I'm spending time doing these little number crunches?
No, it's fine. I think on Google
6.8.
The other thing we talking about Meta, I think Google should increase their buybacks, but if Meta does a split, maybe that could be your catalyst for 750. Right? 7 for one split, 10 for one split, get this thing under $80 again. Like that'd be fun.
Yeah, but that would take a while, right? Because the stocks they'll split and then they'll do like a digestion mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's 7% one way or the other. It's like okay, so it's still like 210.
Okay. So
yeah, this is exactly what I said, like at 180 downside.
Would you be a buyer at 180?
Probably.
You like Google over Apple here, right?
I like Amazon over Apple.
Okay, let's do Amazon. Let's look at Amazon because that's all-time highs, baby.
I mean, so right now it's Hood, Tesla, Amazon, Boeing.
Yeah, we'll talk Boeing as well a bit.
Sure.
By the way, guys, Lending Club got nuked on earnings, down 17%.
Just now?
22%. Yeah. They got hit bad.
So Amazon moves. It's a mover. Apple, Microsoft, not movers, just so you know. So if anybody's thinking about YOLOing anything, I'm just gonna tell you right now, it's not likely. Don't waste your time, Apple or Microsoft. But this is like an 8%er.
You think they hit the 250 after earnings?
So so what I have right now, I have equity. I also have options contracts on that are short dated. Short dated for me is March. That I bought not a long time ago. So I bought these March 250 calls at like 330 a piece. I sold the last lot at like 850 today. How long have I had these?
I have covered calls on Amazon, by the way, for like 255.
So, and then I sold 285 calls against him. I don't see. So I think it could get to 250. And if it doesn't, then we're probably looking back to that 215 area. 285 to me, that's $3 trillion market cap on Amazon. I don't think this is going over $3 trillion right now. Like no way, no how.
Yeah.
So that's where my covered calls are, if you will.
Is there good premium or is it like kind of free money to you type of premium?
It's free money to me.
But people aren't willing to pay a ton for those calls, I imagine.
285s?
Yeah.
I got like a couple hundred.
Let me check the open interest on those too.
Okay, I got them for like $1.35. They're $1.10 right now.
That's not horrible either.
Yeah, it wasn't horrible, but I'm like, there's no way. This is no way that this is gonna be. Oh, I'm like, why is it not showing up? This Amazon ticker. The you remember the question I say like, which one did I believe was going to get to 250 first, Apple or Amazon? Well, before it was Apple, and it did. Now it's Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah.
But 285, 3 trillion. No way, no how. I could probably be a little bit more aggressive on that. And again, those are 50 days to expiration. It's not going to give you a lot. It's not protection at that point. Those are just, that's premium collection. I
think it's fair. 285 is going to be tough to see.
No way. So there are in a situation like this, because we're up at 240s, I might be able to find something cheap like the day of. So like here's an example. A 220 put for next week, even though volatility is high, and next week, not this week, next week captures earnings, is $200. If Amazon goes up a little bit more, I would still have that covered call, and I might pick up a cheap protection like that for just the event if it's underpriced. But I'll do my own like quick analysis at the time.
So I just got a headline.
This is definitely not your style.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do that. I just got a headline. I don't know if this is correct. It looks correct, but I'm not sure. It says Nancy sold all of her Nvidia on December 31st. And it was disclosed January 17th, which is different from the January 14th disclosure. I don't know if this is fully accurate yet, but I'm trying to confirm if this is a thing. Could you imagine, dude?
So it's like this. If she sold all her Nvidia, she also sold those VST options, which, by the way, they're $50 strikes. I was like, VST $50 strikes. That's way deep in the money.
I don't know if it's all of it. It might have been some of the options he had, but I don't think it's all of it. She exercised some of her call options, correct. And maybe that's why they're saying she sold, because after she exercised, she sold. But I'm going to have to try to get some sources on this to confirm.
No, because there was the report and she bought Nvidia, didn't she?
That's what I'm saying. Like on January 14th, right? We saw her.
That's rude. See, you can't really believe those things.
But if she left Nvidia, could you imagine? Like that would be like right before DeepSeek, dude. Like the best trader of all time. Literally the best trader of all time. Okay, cool. So I'll try to get confirmation on that, but she definitely did take some profits. Can we do hymns?
So we've talked about hymns. I like hymns. I just, it's not. I think you just stay the course. This can chop a little bit. It's getting constructive. If you get another pullback sub 30, I still think you go. But it's got. When does this report? Oh, this isn't report till March. So if you get a little pullback, because this is where you might get a pullback, you'd probably get it somewhere in that 28 spot again, which would likely be a buy, my guess. And then it's going to have a pre-earnings run before they report. So they report March. So that's somewhere mid-February. That'll get its move. It's way too early to get a pre-earnings move on this guy, which would maybe take it to 38s.
Real quick, by the way, I definitely think it's just exercising call options because, yeah, right here, 114 purchased Nvidia. There's a P. So, yeah, I think she's still long, just not as long as she was before. There you go. Okay, so
you'll get another disclosure later that she bought this dip.
I mean, in 5 days, if we see she bought the 120, which she, I mean, like, dude, would she let a 120 dip go to waste? That's a hell of a point, right? Like, hard to imagine.
You're not going to know until it's too late. That's for sure.
Yeah. So HIM's all-time highs and 33% float is short. Do you think those are catalysts for the stock right here? If they have good earnings?
HIM's is low float, small market cap, right? Smaller market cap. So HIMS is showing itself to be pretty defensive, like not defensive, but like it's got a good cohort like of investors that just believe in the company or the setup. So 33% short float. The thing is if this does crack 35s, and this, I don't know why they have to have some kind of fundamental situation here. So here's all-time highs, right? 25s, I think, is that crucial level for sure. And we saw that get bought up before. Dude.
I feel like the chart's bullish.
No. I mean, I don't feel like the chart's bullish.
It's bullish, right? It's a bullish chart.
Well, yeah, I hadn't done this before because I didn't see how bullish the setup was. So this I don't need anymore.
Their growth is going to be exceptional, dude. These guys grow like 70, 80%.
You know, I own it. I don't own a lot of it. It's 45s.
I think you said that last week too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and thing, even if GLP-1 stuff pricing comes down, it's not going to affect it's not affecting HIMS. If anything, they get more customers, right? Oh, dude, look at this Lily bounce.
I haven't looked at Lily past couple of days actually.
I look at it every time we come on, like now, because I was like, if you were calling bullshit, that's where you wanted to pick it up. That's a good bounce.
Okay, can we do this one real quick? Yeah, let's get into the energy infrastructure. So GE, Veranova, VST, VRT. What's your thesis on those three?
I bought them all. Well, I've owned GEV for a while. I don't trade options on this thing because I didn't think it was that liquid. But today I was very seriously considering, considering opening an options position on GEV. The problem I have is that I would have had too many positions in that same space, and for tricky stocks, if you will. This looks bullish. So I added to my GEV somewhere in that same price point anyways, not that long ago. It happened to be breaking out. But yeah, I think this you stay long or you add to it, period. That's just my 2 cents. My real problem is that GE Aerospace, that I sold my GE Aerospace, a huge profit, to reallocate more into GEV. And I'm like, oh, fuck, that was probably a mistake. Anyways, I'm ranting.
So you bought options on this and VST yesterday?
No. I don't have options on GV. Equity. But I was looking at them because I would want some kind of optionality or some kind of option play potentially. So, and as I was looking at the chain today, I was like, okay, I don't think this thing gets a lot of option liquidity in general, but today I had 25,000, 26,000 calls, 17,000 puts. I was like, oh my God. I saw mostly spreads, but like there are single trader orders going out for 1,000, 1,500 lots, meaning like I'm buying 1,000 contracts at a time, 1,500 contracts at a time. But I already have a lot of other stuff, and too much to manage is too much to manage sometimes. I saw these May 500 calls go out for GEV for like $350 a piece, and they had already doubled by the time I looked at it later in the day. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I saw them like getting even more aggressive. I'm like, oh God.
Okay, so then, all right, so that's GEV. What do you think about VST?
I bought it because I already own GEV. I already own Quanta. VST was the one. I'm like, okay, well, a little Nancy boat, right? So like, I didn't get this opportunity a lot. I liked this spot for a couple reasons, but just namely this whole order block in here. I mean, this was one where I'm like 35% down or whatever it was, right? Like we should look at the ones, right? So 33%, 31%. That was a bad day, right? Like number one, I was looking at, okay, could it potentially go to 125? I think it could have gone to 125, but I wanted to get a starter and a position in yesterday, and I filled it today. So I'm in what I'm in. This is it. I have equity, and I also have I have some 160 calls that are not super long dated, which I'll probably just, oh my God. They're already doubled. I don't know what to say.
Okay, and then VRT, kind of the same.
So VST, let me do this one, finish this one really quick. So what you want to see is like, if this were to continue, here's this, it's 145 now. You want to see that hold, and this section right in here, you want this to become your support, right? And if you can, then you are very likely going at least to this 165 area, which is why I have 160 strikes. But I know it looks like a blip on the radar on this chart. It's 10%. These contracts, I've not traded this one before, so I didn't want to open a whole lot of stuff that I haven't traded before, because these moved pretty wild. Sorry. What was?
Yeah, so then VRT kind of, I'm assuming the logic is the same as VST.
Vertiv, is this not more data center?
Yeah, but it fell with Nvidia. It was almost exactly the same as VST, 33% down.
Yeah, so my three buys: Arista, Astera Labs, and VST.
Gotcha.
So Vertiv, I'm just not that familiar with this one. It's not small. So It wasn't on my shopping list. This looks like a good spot also, though. Right at that 200 coming into earnings. This is just a question of whether or not you believe that was legit. This looks like a good one. Honestly, this looks like you see it like in the 120s on a basic bounce. The thing is, like, if you get a big move like this, just a basic retracement on some of these, and that's 120. Right? If you pull half of that move back, like we talked about the quantum stocks, they have this big 50% down move. Just getting 50% back is a big move to the upside. I'm not in the camp where I'm believing that this is gonna be like full no good. So VRT, again, I'm not super familiar with this company fundamentally, so I can't speak a lot to it. 110 here is going to be a big deal, where it's probably going to accelerate. And 111. If you get over 111, you're probably going to accelerate very quickly to those 125s or 120 area, very quickly. But Arista, I like this company. It's almost like, it's not quite like Palo Alto, but I've been waiting for this sub $100 moment for a long time. So I did grab this. That was on my shopping list anyways, just like Shopify was at $100. And then Astera, we talked about. This thing has not given like a good pullback since it came out of this downtrend. This is like components that go into Arista. So edge networking stuff. We're just retesting this IPO price, and like that whole base from up here. I think that you use this as like a starting point. So these are the two I bought: Arista, or three: Arista, Astera, and VST.
Okay.
Astera and VST are way more speculative than Arista. Arista has like been around forever. I know the tech. I'm comfortable here. It's edge networking. I'm not really concerned about the edge from a network data center perspective, like being completely shellacked.
Okay. Can we do SoundHound?
It's still holding. It's holding this 14 area. So like they're clearly buying 1270s right in here. So that's not bearish. I mean, if this was weird that day, like if something was going to get absolutely shellacked, it would be these kind of names too. And they just were not, they were just not getting hit, right?
Dude, like Quantum was barely down 2%. I was like, all right, this is an Nvidia thing.
It was all of that kind of stuff. Like, okay, I'm gonna call bullshit on like these things. The stars are not aligning for like a real, like bear market.
And that could have been a sign of real breadth starting to form, which is what everyone's been begging for.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? So, and that's what we saw, right? Like that day we saw even, it was a defensive day. Staples and healthcare were up. So we knew at minimum they were rotating into safety sectors, not cash.
Yeah. Okay, can we do AFRM?
So I had a little trade on this one, actually looking good. So this was the 52. I was thinking 55s in this area, in this box. It's still good. This is the area that you wanted to be getting along. They have earnings coming. This looks good to me. You're still, so you want to get out of this. I think earnings are over, right? Oh no, shit. Earnings are coming. The only problem right now is the fact that you just said that Lending Club just got slammed.
Shellacked.
So that's not a good sign. This is more like loan they don't actually do the loans, I don't believe. So this, I think you can see 60s before earnings. Like, well, I guess we're 58. Like you should see the top, maybe even the 50-day simple 63s. And then kind of like let it breathe, see what happens. Because Lending Club and Lending Club falling, I don't know if this is followed enough to really make an impact on a firm, but this is not super bullish for like your upstarts or firms in general.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know that enough people even know that this exists to know that this could be like a precursor. So that's somewhat concerning, but this trajectory, I think, chops to the upside and you probably get into that 50-day and then come back down and retest the the high 50s and then see it hold. But I think on the next dip, it's probably getting higher than this.
Okay. Can we do Celsius?
I mean, I haven't even been buying Celsius, dude. Like I feel like I'm boycotting Celsius like altogether. Like I go to Costco, I just walk straight by the Celsius sale. I don't even think about it.
Why? But like outside of the stock, you still like the drink, right?
Well,
have you given up on the drink because the stock lost you money? Is that?
Yeah. Can you see this? No. Can you open? Can you make that?
Yeah. Like, hold on. Let me.
No, other one. It's all Red Bull, dude.
Oh, I see. I mean, but why? Why are you cheating on? Like, that's just.
I don't know.
That's just mean, bro. Like,
I'm sour. I'm sour.
Also, bro, I'm officially coming to Palo Alto the second week of February. So I'm gonna hit you up.
Oh, nice.
And we can.
Do you need me to set up a spot?
I feel like I can come through to your place. Maybe we go live just for fun or something. I don't know. We'll figure something out.
I almost said casting couch. Why are you laughing? You're not supposed to know what that is.
Bro, what? You're telling everybody our plans, dude. What the fuck? You're supposed to keep that.
I have a couch next to me with a mic set up.
Bro, but even if you said that, everyone would have thought casting. You might as well have said it because everyone would have thought what you would have said.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll have an in-person stream for you guys. That's about stocks. Hopefully. All right, so back to why do you hate Celsius, dude? Like, what's going on?
I don't hate it. It's just that I know it's not going up. Like, so we talked about last time, 31, and need to get over that. It's just not, right? And so it's not, it doesn't have like a lot of momentum to the downside. So, I mean, I guess that's cool, but it doesn't have any upside momentum either. So at this point, it's in the 20s, man.
Really? Wow.
Or lower.
Dude, I have a friend who loves Celsius so much, like the stock. And for the past year, I'm like, dude, it's an energy drink. He's like, you don't get it. I'm like, it's an energy. He's like, you don't get it. And it's just like, I want it to go up literally for him because I like, he's young.
It's just not ready, dude. It's just not ready, right? So it's like, I don't know if it's like AMD or what, but it's just not ready. It's $19, dude.
I think the thesis has completely been hit. It's an energy drink. Like, who cares?
I mean, you should care. Energy drink doesn't like mean that I don't. It's not that I won't care. But to me, it's like this. It's either over 32, and I'm all about it, or no, that's it. That's all it is. Because it's the same kind of thing. It's like even at $19 now, it's still gonna suck up a lot of cash for me to be sitting in it before it really turns around. Because look, this is a big time fall from grace. You just have to have the right time horizon, because this time horizon is gotta be very long term. And I don't know that I have the patience here or a belief here to be like, oh, this is a good buy right now. Right.
Okay. So
what is that percentage wise? I mean, that's a,
I mean, it'd be like 10%. Oh, from 99, it's been
20, it's like 23% downside.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So can we do Reddit? And I realized today I own Reddit. I forgot
when I texted you, hey, we're going long.
I think a couple weeks ago, dude, I bought 100 shares at 164. Maybe it was because of your text. I don't know.
No. Mine was not there. It was not 164.
You were below 165? I
was way above it.
Okay. So I bought before that. I forgot. And then I was just looking at the portfolio today. I sold a covered call on this thing at 175.
Oh, shit.
For 221. So I am down 1,500 on this covered call. I mean, I'm up.
No. Don't look at it that way. Don't look at it that way. You're not down.
No, but here's my question.
You own the stock.
Exactly. So I'll make $2,000 if that. But my question is, and this is it for everyone who wants to see it. Like I legit looked at this today and I was like, I forgot I had this covered call. The question is, do you think?
Do you guys know Amit's rich? We didn't know that before. Like before, we're like, he's this guy trading out his parents' house, still living at home, and now we're like, he's actually playing with millions.
Okay, hold on.
Because he's losing 20 grand and doesn't even realize that he had it.
No, but I forgot, dude. Like I bought this a while ago, and my question is this thing going to go up to 250 and I should roll this covered call, or do I wait until it comes back to 175? Because I feel like, you know, when I bought it at 164 because I've been eyeing Reddit for so long, and I bought it as a wheel.
Can you pull up the text that I sent you?
What text did you send? When did you send this?
It's a screenshot.
On
Reddit.
Let me see. You know, the other reason I forgot about it, dude, I bought it, I sold the cover call, and I stopped looking at it because my goal was it's not going to get to 175. So if it does, I'll just sell it. But now every day I see it going up, I'm like, oh, wait, this thing is moving much higher.
Okay.
No, where did you send me this picture?
I just replied to it.
The picture's not showing up.
Really?
Yeah, I see it, but it's not showing up.
Okay, so there's the target's 210.
Yeah, it is weird. Apple like erased the picture. I see the picture, but it's not like showing up.
Really?
Yeah, look at this thing.
You can't see it. I can't. I don't have the.
I can see that. Yeah, that's better. That's better.
I don't have the autofocus on. My autofocus is off, so it's not gonna work. And I have a fucking prompter.
Yo, Fuckbucker is so right. I need to settle because now I have so many options. This is how I forget about shit. Like sometimes you forget it's in the portfolio. Like,
can we do a stream Amit where I walk you through setting up Robinhood Legends?
Sure.
Since you don't use it, and I'll show you how to like be able to maybe get a little bit more life out of it.
Yeah, but I don't trade like that.
Doesn't matter. I'm talking about management.
Okay. Because, dude, I manage everything to my phone, bro. And so there is a world where you forget you have shit. And then randomly you look at a covered call, you're like, I'm down $1,500 on a covered call. Like, I didn't even know I had this shit. But,
yeah.
So here's the question. Is it blowing past 200 or do you think it chills out? Because it's trading at a 40 times price to sales. Like, this is not a joke on Reddit.
Can you find blowing past?
Well, my strike is 175. So I guess 215, 220 would be blowing past.
Not really. So 210 is like the target. It's right here from this consolidation. So that was the trade that I said. And we said, yeah, go for it last week ago, maybe. And I actually oh, wait, you got it 165. Did you buy it the other day?
No, it was like early January. I bought it. 164 was when I got it.
Okay, because I think I sent it to you somewhere over here.
You sent it when it was 180-ish or 175.
Right, like right over here.
Yeah.
And
So,
so
dude, I bought it with the assumption that it's a stock I was unemotional about. I was like, if it gets sold away, I don't care. But now it's at 200, and I'm like, well, I kind of care about keeping it now. I didn't think it was going to get
aggressive
200, bro.
On it?
What do you say?
That's what's the date on that cover call?
221. Like when I bought it at 165, I'm like, it's already up 5x. It's not going to 175 that easily. And now it's at 200. And I'm like, okay, do I keep these shares or do I let them get called away? And I kind of think if Reddit has another profitable quarter again, and this whole AI theme is bullish for them again because all their data is what the models need, then maybe there really is a bull thesis on this. Or this is the most overvalued growth stock in the market at a 35 times price to sales.
The best thing I could say, you're pretty deep in the money now.
Very deep in the money.
You can, I don't know how you feel about this. You would have to roll up and out to May 200s to collect something.
Or I can let it tank on earnings, but you know.
No. If you roll up and out to May now, you still collect money. And if it tanks on earnings, you still have the covered call, which is worth more.
Yes, that is true. That is fair. I think
that's a pretty far roll. It's a heavy roll.
It's a heavy roll, bro. Heavy roll. So I'm also like, dude, if it gets sold away, I get $17,500. I kind of, do I really care that much about Reddit? You know?
It's
like,
fair.
But then again, if it goes to 250, I'm going to be, this is the problem with covered. This is what people don't talk about. Like when you sell the covered call, then the stock runs and you realize you actually did care about her. And it wasn't just a one night stand. Like you actually, you know, it's like, I don't want her to leave. Not like this.
Yeah.
But
not
the
like
beautiful thing is,
not like this.
A win is a win. This is what we talked about in the options.
No, this is true, right? So if here's the thing about cover calls too, like, look, if you get called away, that means that you won.
Yes.
That's what that means.
Yes.
Right? Like you made money. The problem is that you planned poorly. And you whatever you collected for that 175, you just thought you were going to get like whatever the shares are plus that collateral and you'd be happy. The thing is that you're either lying to yourself then or you're lying to yourself now that you would have been happy.
I didn't expect it to go to 200 in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Like that's what I'm saying. Is this euphoric on Reddit or like is there a real thesis that even I haven't thought of on this stock that is propelling it forward? I guess that's what I'm confused about.
I don't know. I can it's not even that big. I think it's a real company, dude. Do
you use Reddit? Do you go on it? Who uses Reddit in the chat? Who actually is on it?
I do not.
I use it very rarely to check out Wall Street bets, but outside of that, I don't use it. But they have 90 million monthlies. So people use it.
So
Beneficiaries that add money and they can sell the mass amount of data from old areas of life to train AI
it
models.
can, but like the question is like, is it legit here? 210 was my target, right? Can it go higher? Yeah, a little bit, but I don't think it would press it there. So if you get to 210 before earnings, then I would really start looking at maybe potentially rolling.
But why do you think it's pumping is my question. There's no catalyst over the past 3 weeks, over January, that would cause this, other than a bull market, right? Like,
no, this is your typical time frame for a pre-earnings pop. And then it's not even, is it covered that much? Like this. Here's the other problem, dude. What if you don't get called away and they absolutely tank on earnings?
This is what I'm thinking.
And it's like 120.
I mean, well, that would suck too, but at least at least
No,
at least we get BTA, right?
Right now, these are like luxury problems.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't feel upset buying in the 80 to 120 range. Even when I bought it at 160, I bought it as a trade and I was like, all right, whatever. But I didn't expect it to run to 200. That's aggressive.
So when is the actual report?
I think mid-February, like 15th or 13th. I can try to confirm. See, I should figure out when his earnings because I don't even know.
February 12th.
Okay, so my call sold for 221. So I sold it not knowing that would be after earnings. But that is after earnings, which is technically good, I guess. Yeah, February 12th. Oh, it's the day as Robinhood. Oh, it's the same day. After hours. Okay, so that'll be a big day to see. Can we do Microsoft, bro? Because they have earnings tomorrow as well.
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to figure out if I could help you on this one. It's a tough one, bro.
Yeah, this one's probably gonna get called away if they crush it.
So I was short one stock on that last plunge. It was actually Microsoft, and I made a lot of money. But then I covered, and like, holy crap, we're right back to the highs.
Well, why did you go short Microsoft?
Because this is the box. Like I was just like, this was the weakest, and it was like this order block. I say order block, like, but it's just the same exercise. Like where I could see people were selling. To me, the box that Microsoft has lived in for a very long time was previously this, now this box. And so I'm just like, this is the top of the box. I'm just going to trade the edge. And everything was at upside targets. So, I was like, okay, pre-earnings move. Cool. We got it. Pull back, pop. And I'm just like, this is where it would stop right here. If it were to stop, I didn't see this reversal coming in that hot. I guess I could have, because I knew it was going higher at a certain point Friday. All right, not Friday, whatever, this Monday.
So do you like it tomorrow or no?
Is it tomorrow?
Yeah, after the bell.
No. I think it's flat.
Okay.
I'll trade this. So, because like the upside would be 465. I'll make this very quick. Tomorrow, if I sell a 450 call and I buy a longer dated 450 call. Oh, I'm pretty sure I could do this like immediately. Is Futbucker on? Did I see Futbucker up there?
Yeah, he's there.
Oh yeah, I could do. So we call a system like IVES, like implied volatility event system. But like, I'm just looking at this.
You mean Dan Ives?
No, IVE, implied volatility event system. Anyways, yeah, I can model a trade right now that makes money up to 475 and as low as 430. 430 is going to cover me. Tomorrow I start doing this, but
65% of people say we pump on Microsoft tomorrow.
that's not important. So I guess it's not important if is that right? It's not important if you're trading options. Is that fair?
Yeah.
If you're trading options, just to pump doesn't matter because you're not going to make money unless it pumps more than the implied move. The average move. Is this right? Okay. The average move is 3%.
Yeah, Microsoft's not a mover. That's not a surprise.
No, it's not. And so what does pump mean? So, okay, so the implied move is $20. $20.
Guys, we're going to listen to Tesla tomorrow, but I think Meta and Microsoft are a little early, so we'll try to get some of them right before Tesla. But it's going to be hectic and chaotic no matter what.
So it's a 4.5% implied move on a 3% average move. The implied move is 50% larger than the average move. I can do a trade like this.
This is a calendar.
Yeah, they're always calendars for earnings. Not always, 90% of the time. Oops. Why did this not? Okay, so it's selling a 450 call. I'm buying 2 weeks further out of the money. But the way that this works is, see this graph? You've seen this on Robinhood. So I'm looking at what's the break even. So this line and this line, I actually make money as low as, call it 427 and as high as 476 on this trade, which is going to be what? That's going to be 427, 476. 476 is 7%, double the average move, more than the implied move. And 426, a little bit more than the average move. So I can make a trade right now. This is what I'm talking about. That's what I care about. I can make a trade that makes money if Microsoft trades in this box, like by selling options anywhere in here. So that's an easy bet to me. And I went a little aggressive to the upside on that. Not aggressive because I sold 450 calls. It's not at 450. If I did it at 445, it would be even.
Yes, Powell speaks tomorrow as well.
Oh yeah, it's a big one.
But Powell's going to be theater because it's not going to be we all know it's going to be a pause, but it'll just be funny when they ask him, what does he think about Trump?
Yeah.
He's going to try to avoid it. They're like, yeah, but Trump said we should lower the rates. He's like, I don't care what Trump said. Like, we're not lowering rates.
So this was the box. I can make a trade right now on Microsoft if it basically stays in this area. I would take that bet 9 out of 10 times, and I will take that bet tomorrow. But yeah, so like if you're just buying calls though, I can already tell they're overpriced. I mean, dude, look at this. It's a 450 call for Friday expiration is $870.
Yeah, that's aggressive.
I'm not buying that. And that's the cheapest. Like, and if you go out further, let's say you go to March and you bought 480 calls, they're $500.
Okay. So I guess
yeah, I don't know that you're going to make the money immediately. Like you might that you might make a little bit, but you might double it. Whereas if that was a normal move on a normal day, you'd probably triple. So anyways, I think this is going a little bit higher technically, but your average move is going to put you just like 3%, maybe 4 if you're lucky. So it's going to put you right around 465 to the upside. And then downside is basically right where we just came from, around the 425s.
Okay, can we do CrowdStrike real quick?
Oh, dude, that thing. I don't know what the hell happened today.
They passed the cybersecurity test, I think was the headline.
Did they? All right. So we saw this TA in here, this kind of like setup where like we're pulling back. It held this area here. I know some of our guys took this. I was not in this, unfortunately, but it like a huge mover today right out of the box. So at this point, you're looking at extensions, which are pretty much there, 420s, just low 420s on maybe 425 on CrowdStrike. And then if it really, so it should go up here, it should get sucked in here, a couple bucks more, and then stall. And then you want to see it hold that. And then you could take your next shot somewhere around 410 up to 445s if that continues on. And then outside of that, that's just this trajectory. What a freaking recovery, though. From
dude, people thought it was dead in July. Like there's cybersecurity experts I was having debates with on Twitter, and they were like, "You don't get it. This is the worst thing ever." I'm like, "No, I get it. It sucks." But is it bankrupting CrowdStrike? No, that's not.
I mean, this is a big recovery. Do you own CrowdStrike? I remember
I bought it a long time ago, about like 10 shares, sold it after it pumped. Like it was never a real position, but it was one of those things where I was just like, because I didn't have money.
Didn't TJ buy a bunch of this?
No, me and TJ also sold puts at like 240, but I was still all in Palantir Hood at the time. So like, I really didn't have money to establish a real position in this, but I bought it just for the hell of it. Cause I was like, dude, this is like one of the most important companies in the world, down 40% or whatever.
Which, by the way, is not like Palantir and Hood both did better than CrowdStrike. Not that this is doing bad.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just the debates we were having with people were like, it's dead. And like, what? Where do you come to like? It's like sentiment drives or price drives.
I was not bullish on this, dude. I'll tell you that.
No, I remember we talked about this, and you weren't the most bullish, but you definitely didn't hate it at 200. You weren't like,
no, at 200 there was a lot of conflicts. You know, the truth of this one is that I came in short this day. I think it was this. I was short that day.
And in July.
Yeah, I think I was short.
You just happened to be short the day of the most What inside information did you know?
No,
about CrowdStrike?
Look at the chart. If you were hanging out with me long enough,
I'm just saying, bro, that's a hell of a day to be short when it collapses 50% or 40%.
But you should have known damn well that this was coming down way before that moment, right? Like now that you know what you know, now that you've learned what you've learned, you cannot look at this at this moment before the big crash and not say that this isn't going down.
No.
Even right here.
Hold on. If they didn't have that Y2K event, why would it didn't have to go down?
Dude.
Are you saying the technical said it had to go down?
The technical said it was about to go down to 345, right? And so I was in there for this to 345. But I just happened to be looking.
Wait, so what was your reaction that day? You must have made some money that day.
Oh yeah, no, we were like, it was like, which is probably why I had this bias. Like, I'm not going to be bullish because I'm so short.
Jeff says he was also short. Okay, so it seems like other people were short.
No, yeah, that was, and quite frankly, dude, once you learn TA to a certain extent, like you'll be in these positions to capture all these things. Like the thing is that like about technicals, it's that you never go out there searching for the 10 bagger. Like you shouldn't, right? The idea is not to go out there looking for your next 10 bagger trade. It's just that you go robotically trade to trade to trade, and you put yourself in the position to capture those 10 baggers as they come.
Right. Right.
it's better to be lucky than good sometimes, but at the same time, we create our own luck, right? And that's part of this situation.
Okay, so we got 30 minutes left. Let's do some rapid fire and try to get through all these names. And we'll try to be really quick on these. Baba.
Oh, dude, I really want to. I'm not going to short this thing, but every time this thing pops, I'm like, nah, I don't believe it. But we've been saying, like, if you're going to be long, you know, China names, this is the area that you wanted to be getting long. So congrats if you did, right? I don't know that you would close it either. So I'm not touching this because I'm not a big China bull. But here's what's true. So it's Chinese New Year's. There's not a lot of whatever going down. The CNY trade is a thing. It's not the most reliable if you are trading that as part of your thesis. So just be cautious there. But I think you can get to 105. I think you get to 105 and this 200-week simple moving average. It's good because like it's a good move. I don't know that this is the one, but it's like we've been saying, I think the lows are in for the year. If you're really long this stuff, I don't think you're selling at 105 either. You know, like I just don't.
Okay. Can we do
at 105? I would say, or even a little bit higher, I would say to take some protective measures and sell some of those longer dated covered calls that are low delta, get yourself some protection at some point.
Okay, can we do Boeing?
Boeing, I mean, I'm long Boeing. It was a good morning. It pulled back pretty much all the move, which is fine though, right? The thing about Boeing is that they pre-announced the day, like a couple of days before. I think it was one of these days.
Yeah.
This day was a pre-announcement, and I was in the position. I sent a note to our subscriber or like our members, and I was like, look, this doesn't change. It was a kitchen sink quarter, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't change my thesis on Boeing at all. I'm not in here for a short time. I'm in here for a long time. This is when we're like, if it went lower, I would like it even more. From a generational, like from a big turnaround story, I think it's about what are we gonna do with what's the new management gonna do? You got to give them time to get traction, but they got to set themselves up for success, right? And that quarter looked like, I don't think anybody expected it to be great, but it wasn't as bad as they also thought, right? With the strikes and things like that coming out, and the fact that on the pre-announcement date, it didn't get absolutely hammered. It was actually green the very next day, was ultra bullish to me. Since I've been long Boeing, the thing has had freaking crashes and hasn't gone down, right? So again, the lows are in to me on Boeing. I think, you know, if you remember the broadening setup on SOFI, this is my broadening setup on Boeing. Now, with this context, your broadening setup is like a much bigger deal. And I don't want to get to whatever. This is just from a technical perspective, but now you see my view. This is my look. I think that you eventually get to this 212 area. Yeah. But again, I'm not in this for a short time. I think that we could see. So this is very reminiscent to me of my GE, right? My GE is like long in here, right? This was massive, right? 3M, I had like since the 90s pre-Solventum split. These are massive turnarounds in industrials, massive, right? So yeah, they might not be the coolest stocks to own, but I mean, come on. I'm in the stock market to find these kind of turnaround stories. This is one where I think for years to come, it could be a big time turnaround story. So no, I don't care about the near term price action. I just care that I think the lows are in and it's been more or less de-risked. I agree with that, right? I have some short term, short like June, July trades on, but I have mostly equity. And even then, I'm not even really trimming. So I'm happy as a clam, if you cannot tell, by Boeing.
What's a clam?
It's a setting. It's a saying, man. God, I forget that you're like.
Oh, is that like clam's like a fish or something? Why
No, it's a shellfish. Don't be shellfish, dude.
Okay.
Don't be shellfish.
Okay, cool. So you're good on Boeing. Let's do Intel.
Yeah. So this Boeing, I think at some point later in the year, you see 220s, 215s, and then we want to see this trajectory into the 240s. And if we can clear 240s, you know this setup, right? We've seen this setup. This is price discovery. The setup is massive. Okay.
Intel.
It's not massive. It's not massive.
Dude, I'd buy Boeing any day of the week over Intel. Like,
oh, you heard it here, folks. This is how can this chart still look bearish, dude?
Dude, they're waiting for Apple to buy them out.
What is happening? Oh my God.
They also don't even have a new CEO, bro. They still have this whole co-CEO thing after they kicked out Gelsinger.
How is the pain not over?
Dude, someone's buying them out at this point. I don't think anyone can turn this around. I think someone's buying them out.
But who could possibly buy them out without having like
Steve
like
made a good case for
SEC
Google.
regulation? Who
Is Google. Google has the money. They have the incentive. It's not competing.
Isn't that going to be?
Well, the FTC is laying off too, more so than, especially with DeepSeek. Now the FTC knows American companies need to.
I know. Yeah, I had some members be like, "Dude, is Intel low-key quantum play?" And I'm like, "No."
They should change their name to like Quantum Intel.
So
Quantum
at a certain point, not today, at a certain point, Intel will be a turnaround story. That's my gut. It's not here yet. Can you highlight Matt's comment? This is critical. So people invest in stocks for really the leadership, right? That's number one, right? So without a leadership team at the helm, there's no vision, right? There's just a lot of speculation. And without a good CEO, that's a true visionary that can, like a Steve Jobs or a Benioff, right? Like Jobs, but like those are CEOs that you can look back in the past and be like, or Karp, right? That these are real visionary leaders that can articulate their vision for the company clearly to the masses, right? And people can really start to digest it. Maybe Karp's not the best example because it wasn't really clear for a lot of people initially, but you know, that's critical. Now, at a certain point, they're going to appoint someone, and whether or not that, and at that moment, the stock will get a pop. The stock will get a pop. But you should know that it takes like 2 years or so for a new CEO to really get traction and start to see fruits of their labor. So this is not going to get away from you, in my mind. And unless the only time that it will get away from you is if it's some kind of acquisition, in which case, what are you really looking at? $30? I don't know. So there you have it. And I'm not really interested in this for an acquisition play. So downside is lower. It's like $18.
Sorry, I was muted. I was saying 18 is actually right below its tangible book value, so that makes sense.
Yeah, it's sub 19.
Okay, can we do PayPal?
PayPal was one of those ones the other day where it's like it was actually not acting horrible. It was acting bad when the market was going up, and I was like, this is fishy. I think it was here this day. I don't know what happened, but it was like this was a green day for the market, I believe.
Yeah.
This day.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's sussy. So right into that supply. I think they bought their own shares again. I don't know that. So when I see this kind of stuff, I feel like this is PayPal buying PayPal shares and not like new market participants getting long.
That's probably true.
But I think you have a floor here.
Dude, I just feel like this will be safe over the next couple of years, and it's not something that's going to die out, especially with the buybacks, which is why I don't have PayPal, but that's why I would buy it. It's something safe over the next couple of years with the upside target of 130. is how I think of it.
Yeah.
Okay, can we
I guess
do?
from that perspective, it might even be safer than Square.
Well, let's do Square next. XYZ. What do you think about that one?
XYZ charts are updated now. They fixed. So I'm long a little XYZ here. I think again, it was like this. I actually got long. Where did I get long? Here. I got long here because what I wanted was I'm gonna put my SMAs on. So I wanted, it was the 50-day, this blue line that I was looking for. I was looking for a higher low below the 50-day, and I was looking for that to be here. So I actually took it long right here. I took a little safety trim. Then I got absolutely shellacked, and now I'm back in green. Because that's what you do when you have those kind of days. You sit on your freaking hands and you do not panic sell, by the way.
So you like it?
Huh?
So you like it?
Yeah, it's
Like
constructive for sure.
Okay.
I didn't add to it though, so I don't love it, if that makes sense. Because if I really loved it, I would have been hammering the table with more. But I loved Arista more, and I liked the idea of some other ones a little bit more.
Okay, can we
But
do?
I think it's going higher.
I have a swing trade. Can we
Oh.
do?
I bought some.
Oh, grab's an investment, but okay, grab. Let's do grab.
Okay. Is it?
Yeah. What do you think of grab?
My bad.
Oh,
I
you
thought it
bought
was a
some?
swing trade.
When did you buy some?
Like yesterday and today.
Wow.
Dude, I told you, remember I was like 60% cash like a month or so ago. I'm like, I've been like had my shopping list and I've just been deploy.
So I wasn't 60%. I was 30%. Now I'm like 12%. But last week I've been putting money in.
Yeah. Anyways, I like the spot. Because we outlined the spot right here and it came back to the spot. And so I bought the spot. Right there.
I just need
a good
$10.
buy. I don't know.
I need $10. If it goes to $10, I'm gonna make a lot of money. But that's it. That's all I need. That's why I keep asking you. Can we get to 10, Jason? Can we?
We're gonna find out. So so we know earnings is coming. So I'm expecting like maybe we get a little earnings pop, right? I'm thinking that we get a little bit of a move up into this area into the 480s, which would be cool, but I'm not gonna sell, right? And then I'm gonna be open to it pulling back and then possibly having this kind of move, which would take us to the 5s, which again, I'm just going to monitor, but that's the trajectory I would like to have. I'm not going to buy or sell. Like, I'm not going to sell. I'm not going to trade around this. Just going to hang. And then post earnings, like, again, we'll just see how this goes here. Just this trajectory. If we do get through like 640s for that next extension through, which would probably be a good spot to really rest. And that's a big move if this goes down.
Did you read Evercore's report on them last week?
No.
Dude, they are so bullish, and they have an $8 target, and they're just like, this is the most fucking obvious play we've seen. They're like adjusted EBITDA margins, net income 2025, free cash flows. Like, why are we like
so we're talking about the dollar. I'm comfortably below 109 for right now. It could pop up a little bit, but I'm still okay. Comfortably below 109. That was important. We're looking at KWeb, right? And we're seeing Chinese tech stocks start to run. So I'm seeing a little bit more appetite in some international stocks. I think these are two scenarios that are set up like for a favorable setup for grab.
I agree. 100% agreed. So the actual swing trade I have is Snapchat.
My bad.
Oh, you're good.
Is it swing or is it like a?
So I used a little bit of TA and I said, I think 1070-ish is the bottom.
Oh yeah. That's money.
Am I right on that? Was that what I'm
Oh yeah. Did we not do this? Did we do it?
There we go, baby. I did this without you. I didn't even text you.
So yeah, anywhere in this area, it could have been 1050, but hey, look, tomato, right? This area, which you're now out of for the most part, you're good. So let me ask you this: what is the trade plan?
So I sold some calls at 14, and I
Whoa.
used, and the idea was, okay, if I make $3 a share on 1,500 or on 500 shares, I'm happy. I picked 14 because it would have to be an explosive quarter to pop above it, and even if it does,
Bro,
I don't.
I'm going to show you
Snapchat.
something right now.
No, snaps about they fall badly. Yeah, look at this. Yeah,
They're a 30% mover on a big quarter.
but they don't hold it. So if they move above 14, I would like roll that and expect them to chill out, unless there's a narrative shift on the company, which they're not going to be profitable. So there's definitely not going to be a narrative shift, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. So that's fair. So you're
I bought it because
one
Snap
could say
12 million.
you don't need the covered calls.
What do you say?
I might venture to say that you don't need the covered calls. So like what expiration?
It's like 221, I think.
Okay. And they report on February 4th. So that implies that you're going to hold this through earnings. Are you looking to get called away?
Yeah, unless they pop up to like 20 or something, then I'll manage it. But
so your timing's a little off on the calls, just because you're.
So you think the 2.7 would have been better on the covered call?
Yeah. Or wait, because you're going up right now.
Oh, actually, I'm lying. I'm stupid. It is 2.7. See, this is what I'm saying. There's so many trades. I forget, like, it's 2.7 right there.
Okay. So 40 shares, 2.7.
That makes way more sense.
How much did you collect?
I collected 24 cents a contract. So how much was that? That was like 24 divided by, that was like 2.4%, basically, 2.5%.
Okay. If it goes to 17, what are you going to do?
Dude, I don't think it's going to 17.
What? No. You didn't think Reddit was going to 210. If it
But
goes
Reddit's
to
different than
17,
Snapchat.
can we play it? If it goes to 17 and holds, what are you going to do?
I mean, I'll roll it then, I guess. Or
Are you going to roll it, or are you just going to take it?
Well, because I don't. So again, and maybe I need to get better at this, but if it's a swing trade, just like Reddit was a swing trade, but now I like, but Snapchat, I have no intention to hold.
You have an A+, A- setup here, right?
Like if I sell it at 14, I don't care, is my point. But if it pops to 20 or 22, I'm like, okay, hold on. There's a lot of money I'm leaving on the table here. But there would have to be a really good quarter, and Snapchat is incompetent as a company, and I don't trust them to deliver us anything above 17.
Okay, that's fair. So it's happening right now. You do have a squeezy setup. I think they get to I think they get to 12.50 before earnings. And then we'll see, right? I don't know.
They'll tank to $8 on earnings like they always do. Of course, that'll.
But they didn't last time.
Yeah, but they didn't moon last time either. Like I think 3 out of the 4 last times they tanked 30.
This is what a moon looks like here, right?
But that was off. That was on earnings, or that was the TikTok headline.
Those earnings.
So what was the price? It was 8 to 15.
It was 11 to 17.
Okay.
That's a moon. And then this is a beat skeet, and then they buy it back. This one, I don't know what's going on here. 8, but yeah, I know the range for sure, right? Like that's a clean range. I think it's
okay. So let me ask you a question. Would it be better to not sell the covered call at all and just let the shares ride? Do you think that would have been smarter?
So it's the same thing. Like if you're selling calls on Palantir, right? Like I guess it depends, right? So one might venture to say that you could buy options ahead instead. And then if it really pumps, then short the stock. Oh, no, you're in Robinhood. So can you even short stock in Robinhood?
I don't even know how to short a stock, to be honest. So
you just sell it. You just sell it. The thing is, like, if you buy calls into a report and your net long calls, but then it goes up and you would want to take profit, you actually short the stock.
Right.
After hours or whatever, which ends up in a lot of situations being a better trade. But I don't think you can do that, Robinhood. So yeah, I think you get here. I actually 1, 2, 3, you probably get to the 14s. Like 14.35.
My logic on
Which is
selling
your
the call,
target,
my logic on selling the call was, look, I'm bullish, but if I'm wrong, which Snapchat's tanked many times on earnings, it's like a tradition for them, then at least I collect some premium. That was my logic.
Yeah.
But I guess it depends on how much you believe the company can actually change the trend from the past.
Yeah. So all I was saying is like, this is 33% move just on equity alone. So I was thinking like, even if you're net long equity, maybe you can just take the profit after hours.
Yeah.
If you get there.
That's
which
fair.
might not be, that's a good return. I mean, it's a damn good return if it gets there. But yeah, you're going to get into the 13s sooner than later. And then to your point, yeah, the 14s would be a little bit extension, but at that point you're looking at earnings. Earnings is like 7 days, so you're probably going to get into 12 somethings ahead of them. And then we'll see, right? So I think the trade plan's good. You probably maybe get called away, maybe you don't. But if you do get called away, you win. And then you make, so what was your entry price on equity? 1070, right? And then you get called away at 14. You have a cost basis of, call it 1050, right?
Basically, yeah.
Right. Yeah, you make 30. There you go. Your same percentage, 35%. Take it. Take the win and move on.
So what I'm gonna do is I think by March, I'm gonna set up. I wish Robin would let us have multiple accounts, but I'm gonna set up another brokerage, and like all this trading, I'm gonna try to put like 50 grand in it, and that'll be like the YouTube trading portfolio. And then we could use that live on Technical Tuesday, and I can like walk through what it would mean to set up a trade.
What's your comfort level from? Have you ever taken withdrawals?
What does that mean, withdrawals?
I guess that's a no.
Like, what do you mean? Like withdraw money from the portfolio?
Yeah.
I mean, here and there to pay for stuff, I guess, but usually no, I don't withdraw money.
Oh yeah, because like sometimes people have like a comfort level from portfolio size. Like I have a comfort level 250, right? I don't, if it's too big, so I don't like it because I can get a little carried away sometimes.
I think it'll be 50 because I have to pay taxes soon. I have to fund my 401k, and then I'm gonna have some extra profits left over on a bunch of stuff I'm gonna sell, and that's where I'm like, all right, we'll take out 50. I think 50 is an appropriate amount to have like a public portfolio. It's not too small, like 10.
Yeah, that like you don't want to be too small. You want to have enough buffer from your day trade, whatever, maybe 60, right? Like if whatever your comfort. So people find their comfort level, and then they run that up, and then I would say for a while take a withdrawal, and then bring it back down in real life instead of just trying to get the portfolio bigger. In real life would be like take a withdrawal, set the money aside,
right. I see what you're saying.
Something happens, and keep playing with that same amount until you're super comfortable, and then you can slowly over months, like maybe start to build that up. But take your withdrawals, set the money aside for your taxes, for whatever, for a bad day. Maybe you're maxed out and you want to leverage
or I can fund account to 50K. You give me the most degen of degen bets that is based on technical analysis, and we run that sucker to 1 million, and then we really have some fun on Technical Tuesday.
I mean, you're in the server, dude. You can
that'd be fun.
You can see.
We would have, dude, $1 million to play with would be exciting. Okay, do you have more time or?
Yeah, that's fine.
We have more time. Can we do
we did this already.
Guys, can you put some tickers in the chat? Can we do Oracle?
Oh my God. I told you we're missing the stupid Roblox, dude.
Yeah, I've never cared about Roblox, but it's just ran away from.
He's gone
from us.
Yeah. It's so far away from me. What was my entry here? It was like
that's 17% year to date, bro.
Oh God. It's just gone. Okay. ORCL or Oracle was a big pop. It's the same thing. It wasn't the 30% down. Nice 15%er. So this is a cleaner setup, and I could play this out a little bit better. So this is your pivot line 175. So when you have a day like this, you have so we call this day, today's candle is called the inside day. So does that make sense? So if this is the big candle, today's candle is inside fully the big candle. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So tomorrow you have a trigger. So trigger tomorrow, 165 to the upside, basically today's higher low. So tomorrow, if you open above 165.83 and you start to go higher, you're going higher. You are definitively, without question to me, going to 172.52. And then that's probably it for that day. And then you want to see it, you could let it pull back and you want to hold that 165. So if you're upside on Oracle, you want to see it break and hold 165 for the next couple of days. If you're breaking below 156 and holding is not good. So, but when you have a day set up like this is pretty clean. Like you can use today's high and low as your stop loss.
Okay. Can we do Shopify, which pumped 10% today?
Yeah. Why did it pump 10%?
I still don't know why it pumped 10%.
Pre-earnings move. Oh no, I told you I was long. We were long.
It's one of those companies that's not going anywhere.
Yeah. So I'm long equity. I'm not long options either. So I don't really even, I mean, I care, but I don't care. Because I'm
no,
not,
you're like me. You get too attached. You get too attached, bro.
no,
You got commitment
I have
issues
a
on
lot
these,
of
bro.
I have a lot of medium term trades, options, and then I have equity, which like I'll just like do. So anyways, I think, yeah, I think we get a little bit higher 120s. I don't know that it breaks through just yet, but this is clearly the market looking for, we had a big power earnings gap up on last quarter, right? This one, the same kind of thing, pullback trajectory. And I think this is the market just being like, oh, we forgot about Shopify. It's going higher. It's been executing, firing all cylinders. I think we could see this 150s. God, I didn't realize it's not even that far away.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what it got to 170 during 2021, and then it collapsed to like 50, but it's making its way
Wait,
back.
no, they did a split.
Yeah, so 1700 essentially.
Yeah, 'cause I remember buying this at 500. What was that? That would have been like this, maybe
Yeah.
50. It would have been 50 pre-split.
Oh, it collapsed to 33. Yeah, you're right. It got hit bad. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is 165s. This is a big mover. Not 165 like right now. Oh my God.
Wow, 20%.
Oh my God. So yeah, so they're anticipating this. Yikes, Aroni.
Yeah, that would be a move.
Yeah, it's in the 145, 150s. It's right. It's going back into this. So I think you get here, 150, right in this area, and then you probably breathe for a bit, maybe. But I think that's where you go, right back to those all-time highs.
Okay, can we do Big Bear AI?
What?
BBAI.
This is SoundHound, no?
No, it's not SoundHound, but it kind of looks a little like it. This is an AI company that people are obsessed with because it went from like 50 cents to $5.
No, the chart looks like a short. So like, meaning like if you're this is your box, it's not gonna get out of this box unless it's on an actual earnings catalyst. So your edge is like $1.30 that's a big range. You need to hold. We're talking about 250, but it's not going up right now. Not happening right now.
Okay. Can we do short?
Yeah, it has to be something on earnings. And I don't follow this.
Okay. Can we do Shark Ninja?
Bro, you have me looking at freaking microcap.
Dude, these people love.
No, Big Bear.
No, I know they love it for some reason, dude. I don't know what to
No,
say.
we said Shark Ninja was a bot. It was a good stock. It's still going up. It's all-time highs, dude.
It's doing its thing.
Yeah.
Doing its thing.
We don't have earnings on the docket just yet. Whatever happened here, it's recovered. It's back to the all-time highs. If this, it's 150s for your 2025 extension. That's your target for the year.
Okay. Can we do TMDX?
So I did say I'm not sure, and if you want to go ahead and take a shot, I haven't looked at this chart. There you go. There it is. So congrats, but you're probably not in it for just that. This is on the mend. True story. It's on the mend. This is also why you buying at support is better. On the mend, you're not quite there yet, but if the market does broaden out, don't they have earnings coming soon?
Well, everyone does.
Not really. Okay, so March. So maybe you base out here, and then a couple weeks you get that pop, probably to like 76s, and then it's a show me story. So I think you get 77, something like that. Fill this breakdown. So come back up, potentially set up a lower high, but your lower high would be around 77, and then we'll see. If you like it long term, like you love this long time, you probably take your shot if you didn't already, and then you just have your stop around that 55, or you don't, and you just be ready to buy more at 40 or 45.
Okay. Can we do Riot?
Yes, we did HIMS already. Riot. Oh, Bitcoin's names is not. Dude, these things are just freaking sideways. Do not ask me to do Clean Spark or Mara.
You heard him, folks. It's not me. It's him.
They're all the same.
I mean, yeah, sideways.
What? I just have nothing to say about this. $8 is you're gonna buy. I mean, the thing about these are like they're cool sometimes because like if you're trading equity, even and you buy it at 9 and you sell it at 15, dude, you can make a lot of money doing that back and forth and back and forth, right? Like that's like 50%. You know, if you buy it at 9, sell it 15, buy it at 9, you can make a lot of money compounding just that little move. But just know your box is 14s.
Okay. Archer. ACHR.
No, somebody asked me about this earlier in the week. I was like, oh no, it wasn't this. It was a different one that actually did get hit.
This one's had a nice pump since 3, but it's been, kind of consolidating since then, I think.
I mean, dude, I was worried about Hood being up 170% in 3 months. What is this? Jesus Christ. He's not that. It's like 200%, so it's not too dissimilar. But you're under that key level, so you're under the SPAC price now. You've basically made it back to the SPAC price, so I would expect some chop for sure, and maybe even so. I would not be pressing upside bets here unless you're firmly over like this last high. But if you like it, I think you stay long. I don't think you take this short unless you're. It's not something you want to take short unless you're under like 8s. But even then, it's a quick and dirty short. So I don't know. If you see like 750s, you might and you really like it, go ahead and buy it. But then just know, hey, look, you have earnings coming mid-March, so the beginning of March, you'll probably see a little bit of pop from wherever it is. But in this setup, it likely means that it's got to come down first to give you that pre-earnings pop, and then it's decision time.
Okay. APLD, Applied Digital.
I'm on this one.
Nvidia invested in these guys, and that's why they got a pump too.
I don't know this one. This is monthly chart. This is a big consolidation. So like, again, refresher, reminder, you always start super high level if it's a new chart that you've never seen. So this was the consolidation before it did break out. It's holding this. This is a $5. Looks like it's on the 200. Yeah, so it's a break of that consolidation. I didn't realize $5 stock. So this cheap stock, I only want to do like dailies. Yeah, I think anywhere in here or below, you could probably allocate to. I mean, this is going to come down. They just reported, so you don't have that. That's out of the way. So you can rely on technicals here. I think you would want to be accumulating as close to 5 as you can, or like this is like starter zone and maybe as close to 5. You want to be careful. So SMH had a similar super consolidation, and then finally started to break out. But then you have this shenanigans of whatever's happening now, and you're back below. So same thing here. It's like you can have that initial breakout that looks good. I think SMH is probably a buy here as a whole. So, but again, ASML is gonna be a tell tomorrow morning.
Okay. Nike.
I'm long, still long, not really doing nothing. I don't have any plans for this. Interesting, but I swear every time this thing gets a little bit of pop, it gets sold too. It's like whatever. I want this to hold. This is interesting. This is not holding that. I would have wanted it to hold 74, but it's just been every time it gets in here. So it probably comes down again.
Okay.
It's basing though, so I don't want to hang around below 70 much longer. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it kind of like pulling back and doing this kind of thing, which means closer to 72.40, which is what I have a stop on already, apparently.
Okay. Rigetti, RGTI.
I sold this.
Made some money on it, I imagine.
Yeah. I mean, it was saying that we talked about it. Okay, it's cool. It's going up. It's going to fill the gap, which ends up being right here. Gap filled during consolidation. So this is consolidation. I think if you really like it, you look for the sub 11s to hold in that area.
Okay.
But this is breathing. This is like consolidation mode in here. Let it breathe. What was it?
ELF.
Someone asked me about Abercrombie the other day. We had our ELF. I closed that. That was like this. This is a choppy one.
I think this is suffering from China shit.
Yeah, this is not a great setup, man.
But I love management. Like if it really dips below 100, where is it at right now?
No, this is where you buy.
This is where you buy, right? Like if you really like the company, this is where you buy, right?
This is where I bought last time. Yeah, in the hunt. Like
I love the management of this company. I mean, it's just exceptional. But they have macro stuff that's hurting them.
That's old. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Dude, remember we thought Ulta was going to go to the moon when Buffett bought them, and then he sold them a month later.
When you thought it was going to the moon.
I know, because what was the thing called, the lipstick recession? What is that theory?
Oh yeah. Lipstick. What? Yeah, it's that's a thing.
I was on the market close. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, people buy more lipstick in a recession." I was like, "What? Why would you
Staples.
buy
It's
more lipstick?"
XLP is the chart, right? It's Staples.
I was like, "Why would women buy lipstick in a recession? It's a recession. Like, what are they looking good for? Like, everyone's sad and broke. Like, that was the opposite, apparently."
Yeah, someone was asking me like ANF chart too. All of these were like high flyer retails. You know, I haven't looked at his DKS.
Oh, this is my favorite. I love this one.
Goes right out there with a grinder. I mean, this is a good chart, dude.
It's a great chart. I should have bought this a year ago. I remember I was talking about it.
Yeah. That is breaking out. And I don't think they have earnings as a head. No. March 11th.
Can we do Oklo?
Dude, this chart looks good, bro.
Dude, it's a great company. It's a great company.
Is it?
Incredible.
I mean, there you go. That's a good chart.
This thing has no earnings, but they got hyped up from the energy AI demand thing. But then Nvidia fell. They fell 30%. Now they're up today. It's trading with Nvidia, it seems like.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this one. I mean, the one that I did have was NNE.
Yeah.
Because they have that other they have reactors, whatever they can switch on, but that thing moved like crazy too. So I closed it because it was just like, holy crap, went like freaking nuclear. This actually is somewhat constructive. I just don't know about this one. You guys can like it. I think that first move here is already an extension of this consolidation right there, 43. So now you just have to consolidate over this, which, you know, it might start to chop, and then you could just do it like one step at a time, right? So one step at a time would be like, fuck, 58. Sorry. This thing moves so much. Yeah, it's in the 50s, dude. If this ends up being another consolidation break. Good
Okay.
God. That's crazy. I mean,
it's up 91% year to date, dude.
Yeah, I mean, or not NNE.
Oklo's it, yeah.
Yeah, but like this one was the same. I literally bought it like somewhere over here, and then I sold it. This is gonna be one of those where like you're like, dude, okay, you don't realize it, but this chart is like 365%. Oh no, I think I bought it here. Here, a double.
And now it's
And
a
then
triple.
you're like,
yeah,
150%. You're like, holy moly, these things are wild. You gotta have some like balls of steel.
Can we do a small cap PTLO? It's a Chicago-based hot dog seller.
I mean, you do like your hot dogs.
Wait, but everyone should know this one. People know this one, right? Portillo's?
No.
You don't know this? I think I feel like I've ate there before.
Oh, it's not like a hot dog cart?
No. It's a deli.
No, see, you're East Coast. Delis do not exist on the West Coast.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. You're right. It's $1 billion market cap, up 8%. Does the chart look pretty to you at all?
$1 billion. I mean, do you like the place?
I'm just asking because I'm Beneficial said to do this one. I don't know anything about it, but I feel like I've eaten here before.
Some of these restaurant things are doing. What's the? It looks like if it goes high, like I would not sell, unless it got like the sell would be like, okay, you get up here, and you hit something like 20, and then you fail. That's get to freak out. But otherwise, I think you just kind of like ride the lightning on this with a pretty generous. So it's 8%. you would have to do like a 10% trailing stop on equity.
That makes
10%.
sense.
Which might
Oh, Kava. I haven't looked at this in a minute.
Yeah. So like the restaurants are. Oh,
Dude, Kava's at 125.
this looks like a buy.
Dude, that means every location is worth like 50 million.
Probably.
Do you think
This goes any higher? You're. This looks like it's going to break through. It looks like it's going to try to break through. So the setup here is like these SMAs, they were contracting. And what I mean by if it goes any higher, like if this stock continues a little bit, the trajectory here of these SMAs is going to be like this, and then you're going to be back to widening. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's from a momentum perspective. Technical perspective. Oops, there's mama. This is the last one. If you get over this hump, you are going to go back to the highs, and you're going to fill this gap into 150 plus.
All right.
All right.
I'm sorry, guys. He's got to go. He's been here for almost 4 hours at this point.
Really? Holy shit.
It's 3 hours, 35 minutes. Jason's Twitter. He's got a webinar coming up, mastermind coming up. Check out his Twitter. All the links are there.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, so like on the first one, there's a free webinar tomorrow or Thursday. That link. It's in that thread right there. And then sign up. We have a newsletter too, but like hop in the newsletter. That's free also. And then if you want to know what we have coming up, we have mastermind sales are starting soon. It's pre-sales or early bird waitlist right now. If you want, reach out. And if you reserve a spot in the pre-sales, then whether or not you buy today or later, you'll get a discount just to lock in the spot. But
and when does it start? Mid-February? The mastermind?
February 17th. Yeah, February 17th, we actually kick off. So pre-sales, like early bird waitlist, it's a wait list right now. If you want to lock in your spot, we sell out every time, right? So it's not like we usually cap like 100. But we'll see. It's going to be similar setup. I have Matt from like the #1 futures traders coming. I got a couple new people. We're actually going to do some live sessions this quarter. It's going to be pretty cool, man. And it's always different every quarter. So even if you were part of the last one and you enjoyed it, let the fam know. But it will be 99% different this time because there will always be some core overlaps, but of the 15 sessions, it's 15 2-hour trainings, hands-on.
I was going to ask, how long is it? So it's 15, so like a couple months?
5 weeks. It's 5 weeks. We start 30 minutes after the market closes every day. Sessions usually last about 2 hours. Everything's recorded too, so you can watch them forever, whenever. But yeah, they're about 2 hours per session, 5 weeks. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 30 minutes after the close, 3, 6, 12, 15 sessions.
All right. I love. So if you want to get serious about options trading and technical analysis, this would be
Spencer. You guys should invite Kramer. Dude sucks at trading. Very possible.
All right. So if anyone's interested in that, Jason's Twitter, you can check it out. Jason, we appreciate you every single week spending time. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you soon, live, actually, in person. Adios. Bye.
Bye. All right. And then there was one. Okay, so we still have some headlines to cover. No, I'm just kidding. Even though there are a bunch of headlines to cover, bro. We didn't even get on Tuesdays. We don't get to cover that much shit because we get into the technicals. But we got a new Vlad interview. We got a lot of stuff. I could do another 3 hours, bro. I could take this shit, keep it going. But I probably should go use the bathroom and liquidate my bladder because it's been 4 hours. But yeah, that's it. Today's what? Tuesday? So we'll be back tomorrow. I will have a daily Palantir video coming out in like an hour and a half on DeepSeek's relationship with Palantir. So if 8 hours was not enough with me, we got another video coming out later. And tomorrow's going to be crazy, bro. Tomorrow's going to be wild. So I've decided tomorrow we're going to do market open 8:45 till 12. I'm going to take a 2-hour break. Not really because I don't want to stream those 2 hours, but because I think from a YouTube perspective, it makes sense to have 2 streams, one in the morning and then one that's dedicated to earnings and JPOW, because having just one stream with everything kind of like doesn't make sense. You want to have people joining because they know exactly what they're getting into. So then we will start at 2:20. And so it'll be like 2 hours in between the morning open and then the market close. But the market close will be JPOW, Tesla, Elon, which is Tesla, Zucks, Meta, and Nadella, Microsoft. And then we have a ton of other earnings happening in between that. But Tesla starts at 5:30. So JPOW will be 2:30 to like 3:45. Then from 3:45 to 5:30, we'll have all 3 companies reporting. And I think we'll get 30 minutes of Zucks and Nadella before Tesla. And I'll have some guests join me as well. So there'll be a bunch of people that'll be on the close with me as well. Be a man, use a bottle. Yeah, dude, that's a smarter thing to do at this point. Just have a bottle hooked up. But yeah, so that'll be tomorrow. It will be a long day. It'll be a little break in between of those 2 hours, but then on the close, it is going to be. I don't know. I would hope that Meta and Microsoft crush it. I hope Tesla crushes it, and it'll keep big tech earnings intact, which will keep the broader S&P 500 earnings picture intact. Also, by the way, Alibaba came out today, and they said they made a model that's better than DeepSeek, and this is confirmed by the Alibaba AI people. We'll talk about it more tomorrow, but they just said they beat DeepSeek. It's called Qwen 2.5 Max. That's the name of it. So if China's beating other Chinese companies, the innovation in China is becoming rapid, which means I think that's bullish, because that means Zucks and Nadella are going to spend even more and more and more if they think that these Chinese companies are starting to get serious about it. Or they're all trolling. What if they came out and said, yeah, we did it for like 2 million, not 6 million, but we beat like, that would be ridiculous, bro. I don't know how much they spent. I didn't get details on that. I haven't looked too much into it, but it is looking like they beat DeepSeek. So, all right, that's it. Thank you, everybody, for being here every single day. Appreciate it. I'm going to try to hook up that intro delay thing, because that is annoying. I didn't realize that even if I play an intro, because of the delay on the stream, you guys miss half of the intro. So I'm going to count the delay in the stream. I'm going to do an experiment tonight. I think it's like 10 seconds, and then I'm going to set a timer for 10 seconds and then play the intro, which is annoying, but nonetheless, it is what it is. I'll try to figure it out. And hopefully we can make this work. Marianne, thank you for the $2 super chat. Amit, congrats to you. Big money. Shout out to you. I think you mean dumb money, but yes, I think someone texted me that at the end of their podcast, they gave a shout out to me. So I love dumb money. Dave Hansen, he's awesome. I'm going to try to get him on the Robinhood earnings again, because we did earnings a couple quarters ago. And then Chris Camillo is becoming a personal friend of mine, so he's super cool as well. Those guys are awesome. Those guys are absolutely awesome, and they have one of the best podcasts in YouTube. All right, that's it. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow on one of the largest days of 2025 for the stock market. We got JPOW, we got Zucks, we got Nadella, we got Tesla. It'll be a big day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a good one. Good night.